Jack's RPG Podcast. I'm in Max. Pursuing the RPG hobby with reckless abandon.
Each button, click.
I know. We're there.
There we go. Nothing to see here. We're all fine here.
Yeah.
Really. How are you?
Yeah. When I'm not here, usually I'm off to the side handling all the techie tech stuff and amazing. But so it's just really weird.
Flawless.
Here.
Seamless.
Yeah, flawless.
Perfect.
Yeah. It was really good.
Super professional.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. I am not Stu, your host. I'm Gina. Stu's got the night off because he deserves it once in a while.
He's prepping for a party. Stu's in fact prepping because that's what he does.
Yeah, for All Hallows Eve.
Now that he doesn't over prep for games, he over preps for parties.
Yes. So this is episode...
Season 20, episode 11.
There we go.
And we got some people hanging out tonight.
Hi, I'm Kurt.
Hi, I'm Mary.
Hi, I'm not Kurt or Mary, but yeah, I think I've been around long enough. Hey, and a big hand for Gina stepping up into the master seat there.
I don't know.
Thank
Do we
you.
want to applaud her now or later?
Now.
She's flying the TARDIS now. There's enough buttons to push to
am.
get all this up and running. I mean, it's crazy to get.
Has anyone ever said it's bigger on the inside?
Not yet.
Yeah.
That's Gina. Gina's bigger on the inside. She's got a big heart. She's
trying
got a
not
big
to go
brain.
there.
She's got a really great soul. She's much more giving than most of our friends.
Thank you.
And she shares her alcohol.
That's funny because I always say like my empathy chip is like the TARDIS in the inside and it's bigger on the inside. So yeah, we have weird alcohol even tonight. So we're bourboning it up.
We're just drinking what's
burping
left
it up.
over.
Well, yeah, I am.
You're
This is all
burbling.
for
Prep
me.
for the party.
Yeah. Well, Stu is sharing some with
And I'm
me.
drinking Kurt's beer.
So.
Kurt brought beer.
Yeah.
Nobody's brought beer, I guess, in like 3 weeks. So I opened up the fridge. There was beer in there, so I
Yeah.
took them.
Yes, you did. Well,
Thank you.
I mean, because you're a taker, and that's the thing. Is
Yep.
If there aren't any takers,
No,
then
what would
the
us givers do?
don't have anything
Right?
to give to.
Right,
Anyone to give
and they
to.
just sit there, and then you have
We
to throw
would
them
be
out.
unfulfilled.
It's important to have catchers and pitchers.
So,
Okay, so anyway.
Okay. So in this episode,
That was awesome.
Isaac from
Give me-
Texas needs some GMing help. Not pitching and catching help, but GMing help, because it's not that show. It might turn into that show. But Kangaroo writes in about overenthusiastic teens, a.k.a. short attention spans, and the impulse to be the first to shoot. Axel writes in to Stork about social skill roles and min-maxing. Sam relates a
such a
tale of
big
GMing
min-maxer.
triumph. And Nicholas from Stockholm relates a story of dying 3 times in one session.
I didn't actually see that email in the printout.
I didn't either.
I don't
Yeah.
think I
Oh,
got that
okay.
one.
I don't know that we got the stock.
It might be on the double side.
Yeah.
If we didn't,
by the
it'll
way,
be next week.
By the way, Sweden and Scandinavia are just crushing it in the RPG world these days. I mean, it is like, I think Sweden is on the verge, on the cusp of taking over RPGs.
They have some super good LARPs too right now.
And
They do-
board games.
They're crushing it. It is amazing. And Scandinavia is basically now, quietly, like Scandinavia does, taking over the whole role-playing game world. That's just what they do. And they're so beautiful and charismatic and smart, nobody stops them or argues
No,
with them.
we actually have a friend.
That shit started 30 years ago with Mutant Year Zero, though.
It did,
which was rad
but it's been a
AF.
slow burn for 30 years. Like,
Yeah.
they play the long game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of listeners from the Scandinavia, so
Yeah.
your plan is working, and thank you for
Slung
making
chat,
such
which
great
is
games.
totally not what you guys say, because I don't know
No,
what
they
to
say
say.
Prost.
Skål. Skål.
Okay.
Prost is
Salute.
German, yeah, don't kill me.
Yeah.
Prost is German. Yeah, we have a friend from Denmark who is actually a game designer, a board game designer. So he's got a couple out there that
Went
are
to school in Denmark.
pretty
I
good.
actually love Denmark.
What are the
It's
names
very
of these
temperate.
games?
He's got one out that I don't think you can get anymore called Colonies because it was just a limited edition release. But the other one that he's got out right now is called Among Nobles, and it's a fascinating card-based game where you are assembling a family tree of a Renaissance era royal family, and it's kind of weird because
cool.
you can set it up in such a way that you have Henry VIII be the son of Elizabeth Tudor, which is a little odd, but it's just the way
Yeah.
that the game runs.
But sometimes you need to build an alternate history for the world you're going to run your game in.
Yeah.
This gives me an idea for a card game, and I'm not going to make it, but all of you guys out there listening, got a pencil, get ready. I want to make a card game where you are all playing royalty, and the cards basically are the inbred genetic problems that you get. And
So
then
you're playing the Hotspurs.
and so be, or any of basically Europe, yeah, or it could be any of them. And so once you get dealt these cards, you have to play off those disads every time. Could be flippers, could be excessive earwax, whatever it is, and you have to play off the inbred local issue.
I've totally lost the
yokel.
reins. I'm sorry.
Yep.
The cart is going down the street. It's starting to be on fire.
It's a genius card game if you think
Yeah.
about it. Everybody plays royalty, and you have to play your genetic defects.
If you'd like to email us, you can email us at happyjacksrpg
that's what I
at
was just gonna-
gmail.com.
yep.
That's happyjacksrpg
Are
at
you
gmail.com.
taking away my stew?
Yes.
My stew thing?
Yes,
Go
I
for
am.
it.
I
then.
totally am. Go
Okay.
ahead. No.
No, that's
You
okay.
want to mansplain it to her?
Done and done. Welcome to the
Hi.
life of having
Here's the
boobs.
problem that's happening recently. If
Yeah.
you're a guy and you have to explain something to a woman
Yeah.
for anything, and you could legitimately be explaining something they don't understand, you're mansplaining. You're effed.
You are, because it's,
I'm a guy
Yeah.
explaining to a woman.
but
By
it's
definition.
not necessarily mansplaining.
No, it's not.
True.
It's only mansplaining if
Yeah.
you're being an asshole about it.
And it's something she already knows.
Yeah.
How about manscaping? Let's talk
That's
about that.
completely different.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Stark. I'm here. I'm listening.
Little floral pasties.
This became a
in
very
places.
different
Yeah.
podcast all of a sudden.
Waxing,
On
waxing is
Twitter,
painful for everybody.
Happy Jacks
Let's just say
RPG, all one word. I just wanted to say that. That's all I wanted to say. Happy Jacks RPG, all one word. You can take it away from there.
Same thing on Instagram,
Yeah.
happyjacksrpg.
All
And
one way.
you can watch us live every Friday night at 8 p.m. at happyjacks.org/live.
What's funny is Happy Jacks all one word is actually spelled Happy Jacks all one word.
No, it's not.
Happy Jacks all one
No,
word.
it's
All
not.
over. It is. It's one big long one word.
Oh, yes, that is true.
See,
but
now I want to go and make that Twitter account.
yeah,
Right?
Happy Jacks ALLONE.
Not to make this super uncomfortable, but we have you cranked to the max because I just going back to some Valley Girl
Okay.
lingo. No, they say they can't hear you,
can't
and
hear
you
me?
are all the way up and thinking
Okay.
maybe your
Yep,
mic
there you go.
is
And we'll move the mic up.
and you might
So-
need to project. Yeah.
All right, is that
We were
better?
told nipples, so it might need
See,
to be
yeah, I was
closer.
at nipple level. Maybe
Yeah.
they're sagging a little. I'm getting towards 40. It happens.
Yeah.
And you're not an A cup either. You're
No.
very proudly not.
Yeah.
We went right from manscaping to all one word.
I'm going to be the pig tonight, so
Okay.
so you can blame me.
Tonight?
That's okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
So if anybody wants to send Storm
yeah.
some good razors for like
better?
bodyscaping, we can do that. Totally an option.
Or some
Yeah.
rusty ones.
I-
What do you do with a
you
with a
know,
drunken
I-
bard?
Hey, let's all be really quiet for a moment and let's let Mary talk because I just want to see if
We're
you
just
you'll
gonna-
bounce. And
Okay,
All right, so
Mary.
we're checking my sound level. Is like my mic actually
Yeah,
on?
you're super low.
Okay.
There, it was
It's-
better.
Okay. So
when you
if
directed
I
down.
Talk towards my boobs. All right.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
Yeah. Well, just imagine you're a dude
Imagine you're everybody else. in the world.
and you talk. Eyes here.
Do I need to pretend I'm really short and just look down on everybody around me? Is that what needs to happen?
Yeah, because you're way low. Yeah,
Okay.
when I talk, I sound like I'm ridiculously
I know.
projecting and
No actual extra controls on
Nope,
this?
because
nope.
you're
Make it louder?
you're bouncing. It's just really quiet. So
Okay.
I don't know if you can.
I could trade spots with Kurt,
Do
which
this.
would completely mess up all the name labels, but he's loud enough that it would probably work for him to have a quiet
Let's
mic.
do it.
Okay.
Why not? We'll play.
So
we'll
while I do
the
that,
player
I'm
drill.
going to read an email.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was going to read that one.
I will read another one then,
But
and you can
also,
read that one.
while they're switching places, I don't think we even finished the email thing. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
watch us
All right,
on
go
live
ahead.
stream at happyjacks.org/live. We're on the Twitches and the YouTube.
Twitches.
And all sorts of cool, super cool stuff. Okay, so first email.
Am I
Take it
here?
away.
Can people hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can
it
you
looks
hear
a
me
little
now?
better actually, but
Okay.
it's still lower than the rest of us.
Okay, that's weird. I'll move it up even higher then.
Okay.
All right. So GMing help, Isaac from Texas. Sorry, I can't do a Texas accent. It always goes southern, and I don't want to insult your state that way. So we will stick with standard. This is true. I'm really good at insulting Texas. All right, hopefully this subject got your attention. Moving on now. Hi, Isaac from Texas here in search of advice for a complicated bad guy. I recently had my first session of 5e with a group of 3 friends. The setting was 2 cops and a thief are dropped into Dungeons & Dragons equivalent of L5R. The players are a spineless elf wizard who is only a member of the Force because of family connections, whether he wants it or not, a gnome fighter with a huge chip on his shoulder because no one takes him seriously, and a halfling rogue who is the local guide for the 2 cops, i.e. an informant. The first session was great, setting up the world and giving the players an idea of what sort of craziness can happen to them down the road. While in the forest, they found a panda chef who was a wandering storyteller, and he told them he told them a tale of a river fiend who could grant wishes.
All right, a panda chef. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Actually, yeah. Like,
That's very, very wow.
do you think though its
It
cooking
is.
is probably very vegan?
It doesn't matter to me. I like the imagery, and yeah, it's wow, and yeah, it's also what's the Jack Black animated series?
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Well,
that's right.
they're saying it's in L5R, the Rokugan.
Yeah.
So this is the Chinese immigrant chef into
I know.
Rokugan.
I love it. Yeah.
Lo and behold, no sooner does the group leave the warm campfire food than they run into a massive fish demon fiend, complete with top hat vest and Wendy Drawers accent. The demon,
Nice.
Tom by name, said that he was a lover of unique foods, and due to his appearance wasn't allowed in the fine dining halls of the big city, but he could grant people their desires in exchange for a favor at a later date.
Favor to be named later.
Dun dun dun!
He's a demon after all. That's what they do. They have rules.
Yeah. Happy Jacks, my players gave me the greatest gift. They all 3 asked for something from the demon.
Like you do.
The rogue asked for a map. The gnome asked for healing potions. These aren't very big deals, but still gives me a reason to come back later on. The wizard, however, he asked for courage.
Courage.
I sat dumbfounded as I looked at my player, taking all my willpower not to cackle like a fiend. Which, by the way, Mr. Isaac makes you a better person than me because I would have laughed
She has.
gleefully.
She has. Trust me on this.
The demon grinned and gave the wizard a short sword. The player was proficient in them before laughing and vanishing. Here is what the players don't know. So if you're Isaac's players, please stop listening for the next 5 minutes, or just kind of fast forward. And here's where I need your help and insight. Tom is a demon that can eat anything.
Matter eating matter.
People, dreams, hope, emotion in general. He loves the taste of despair as he rips it from the grasp of those he has empowered. What I don't know is how to make him come back 3 times. The group knows the danger that he is capable of, but I don't think they fully understand the scope of his ability.
Can I just say that this is like the coolest bad guy ever? This is such a neat trope.
Bad things happen in 3s. Remember that.
And yes, and it can happen. I mean, it could be 50 years, and he could show up like at your granddaughter's quinceanera. Yeah.
Bat mitzvah, yeah.
Which
exactly.
actually would be amazing if you can only come up with 2 times and then like set your game 80 years in the
yeah,
future.
you're just waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Yeah. The gnome wants respect from his peers. I plan on granting that down the road, then having Tom show up and destroy everything he spent the game trying to build, eating the respect that the gnome has built around him. Now I could pull something like this off once, but how can I do it 3 times over the course of the campaign? I am at a loss, because I know they will try and fight the demon, and I want to give them a fair fight, but it's a god versus 3 mortals. I don't want to kill one of them, but I don't want to make them feel totally hopeless either. I'm not sure what to do. Thanks in advance. Isaac from Texas, Straley88 on the forums. P.S. Please bring back L5R. I need more of that wonderful game in my life.
There's
Do you want
plans
to
in the
answer
works
the
for
last
that.
thing first?
Yeah, there's plans for L5R in the works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's going to be playing it,
Yeah.
but
I volunteer as tribute.
it's on the schedule.
I know. I think
There are a lot of things
might
on the
be
schedule.
there might be Hunger Games.
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
if there are open spots, because there might not be open spots. But yeah, it's
Hunger
just got-
Games inspired L5R.
Oh yeah,
Let's
there
just
you
put it
go.
this way.
That would be Battle Royale.
Mode is sunsetting. Something has to take its place.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
exactly.
yeah, something is.
Yeah, but that's only every other night. There's something for the
God.
other night. That is, you're not going to be every night, every Sunday.
Right, that's true. Okay, so I actually do have an idea
All right.
about.
So many ideas.
You know how to bring in. You know how to bring it in once for the gnome. Okay, cool. For your second one, is actually your first one.
Okay.
Your first one is
I blame
they,
Satan.
whatever it is that the demon is eating. he's doing it surreptitiously. He's doing it from the shadows, and they don't actually find out immediately what it is that's causing their problems. So there's this more of a background problem that is haunting them. And as that one wanes and they think they're just getting past it, then they get into the problem with the gnome and eating the respect and everything like that. So there's two of them for you. And then the third one is because once they have encountered the problem with the gnome, then they'll have realized, oh, that's one, that's two, and they'll be waiting for that other shoe to drop. And you can milk that for a long time, like we just discussed.
And that was my advice too, which is you don't have to do everything in the next game. I mean, I think if you're in this for the long haul, then you just hold on to those cards until an opportunity presents itself. And they will. Something's going to happen. And you're going to go, now's the time that guy comes and calls in that debt. I think that you have set up a wonderful thing, and I think the players are going to trip themselves up. Let them screw up their world. You just hold on to those cards, and you just know that at the time, at the appropriate time. But it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It doesn't have to happen in the next game. If you're going to do this over a year or two, even 6 months, if you're playing every week, that's a long time to look for opportunities to play that card. The other thing I was thinking was, I mean, I'm reading this, and I'm like, this guy's Anthony Bourdain.
Really?
Yeah, it's Anthony Bourdain. He basically shows up and he's just a dick, and he's condescending, and so why don't you just, every town they go to, there's like a food fair going on, and somebody's in charge. Because demons can shapeshift; they can change their. He could be around. He could be in the background, just pulling the strings.
Who's that man in the background? Looks suspiciously like Anthony Hopkins.
Bourdain.
No, Anthony Hopkins.
With the muzzle.
It's kind of dicky.
It's
kind of dicky, but I kind of really like the idea of just having the Anthony Bourdain being at every town. It's like doing a show because he's. I don't know. I like Anthony Bourdain's writing style. I actually like Anthony Bourdain's. He doesn't really cook much, but the guy just strikes me as an absolute regional prick.
Oh my God, that's what Sean's doing to us.
No.
That's what Sean's doing to us.
No. There was the competition where it was the making sweets one, but kind of like Chopped, but not exactly.
Yeah.
And the guy just kind of looked like a very gay Lex Luthor.
Why?
Like he was bald and kind of evil, and he wore a lot of purple button-down shirts.
A more gay Lex Luthor? What?
But he was running this cooking show, so he was absolutely gleeful about, and now you have to cook with this weird ingredient, change your recipe halfway through what you're doing.
Oh,
and
no, that's Elton Brown.
No, because Elton Brown has hair.
So does Anthony
Not
Bourdain.
much. Anthony Bourdain.
No, the guy I'm thinking of, his head was shaved. And
Anthony Bourdain is a suave guy with a cigarette, and he's very much a beatnik. And
the
he's
salt and pepper hair.
And he's a great writer, but he just doesn't he just seem like a royal prick?
Oh, I think,
I don't know.
but he seems amazing.
Yeah. So I would model your demon after Anthony Bourdain, and then I would say, what would Anthony Bourdain do if he had to collect?
That's one of those things we've talked about before, but sometimes, you don't think about it within the context of this type of a situation where it's like, model
dude, this is your big
somebody
bad.
off.
This is your big bad. You give him a character.
Yep.
You give him motivations, and you have plots for him. He doesn't just. I mean, the whole idea about just holding on to those cards is fun. That's great, but also invest some personality into this dude. It already sounds like you have a great starting point because I really like what you've got going on.
Because you've got the accent, you've got the look.
That will motivate stuff too. He might get desperate at some point. There might be something going on if you've concocted a cool enough backstory. Sometimes that stuff can motivate things. It can also jumpstart stories for your characters. Your demon might come up and go, I will give up one of my wishes if you go and kill that dude. Why? Okay. I can't tell you. And that, for whatever reason. I mean, they
owe him favors. You call in the favor, go kill the guy.
There are certain things even I can't do or don't want to.
Right. Yeah. Or I can't tell you why I need him gonned, but he needs to be gonned.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've set up this wonderful, wonderful world. Don't cheapen it. don't jump the gun too quickly, and don't try to trick your characters into. Well, yes, you can trick your characters into it, but don't blatantly set up a blind trap, which is, it's secretly the person, the baker you were talking to is secretly the demon, and you're now trading everything away, and that's just douchebaggy.
Yeah. So.
I think whenever he presents himself, the player should know that it's him, or at least suspect that it's him. It's like, the guy that's in charge of the cook-off, does he look familiar? Why, yes, he does. You have this sinking feeling.
And you can put it even, you can drop little things in there, like if the demon looks different in every iteration they see him in, then it's sort of you just use one particular descriptive term to describe every single one of them, even though they look different. It's like, he has a certain twinkle in his eye, or something like he has a knowing smirk, or something like. But it doesn't matter whether who all you're describing. Every single time you drop that one little thing in there,
and they'll eventually figure it out. Yeah. Or you could even just say, because the fact that they owe him favors, they can see his true form, or whatever it is.
And
don't cheapen it too quickly. Don't try to resolve this too quickly. Don't try to trip your characters up with really, really obtuse clues. Let this thing play out and give it some room to breathe. You've set up a wonderful thing, and I think your players are going to be sweating it. They're going to try to come up with great ideas, but listen to your players and wait for that moment to drop that card.
So
they'll give it to you. They will.
So I have slightly different advice on this one.
Okay.
Because I have been playing in World of Darkness Vampire LARP for the last 2 years, which is all very subtle, messing with people, and we had a plot team that was really good.
Not the way I play Vampire, but go ahead.
But we had a plot team that was really good at getting into your hopes and dreams and then doing horrible things to you. Like, Theo, you're probably not listening, but mad props, Theo. It was a thing of beauty, the way you screwed with my character. My character was a Toreador, but just believe me, the most beautiful things that happened were usually because I chose to do something that I knew was stupid and my character didn't. But first of all, they owe this demon favors. So you're going to call in those favors, and they have to do them or they're going to lose their gift. And if they can't lose the gift because it's used up, they're going to owe the demon something else or something worse. You refuse to do this favor for me? Okay, I'm doubling down. You owe me something bigger now. And the demon can call in all kinds of really horrible things.
So you're saying that the player character can double down on this? He's like, you know what? I'm not going to do this.
Maybe?
And hold the demon over a barrel?
No, like, okay.
That's actually pretty cool.
I mean, think about
what she's saying.
What I'm saying is, if the player, if the demon asks for something low key, but that will ultimately screw over the players later, and the players say no, the demon says, you owe me. So I either take your soul now, or you owe me something twice as big later.
Yeah.
Just so that way
double
the player
up to stakes.
Yeah. Give the players maybe a double or nothing, or say, all right, you do this for me, but I'm claiming the soul. I'm claiming the soul that I want. Some sort of price. Maybe they don't realize what it is right away. But I'm I'm looking at the one where you're talking about getting the respect of his peers and then destroying it. And I really feel like the favor the demon needs to call in on that is he gets the respect of his peers. He does something super heroic for his people. And then the demon comes in and says, screw this up completely in a way they know you did it. You have to now, for me, what you owe me is destroying your own reputation. You have to walk in, you have to screw this up. You have to become a villain to the people who think you are a hero, whatever the demon demands. Now, okay, I've been playing very dark games lately.
You have, and you're messing with player agency at that point.
No, because they can still tell the demon no.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you're treading awfully close.
This is what they made a deal with the demon. I'm sorry.
I know.
You made a deal with the demon.
It's
like,
true.
if you were stupid enough to make a deal with the demon, which
That's
is what
true.
they did.
Yeah.
Then they should be in a dark place, and some
There
really
are
bad things should happen.
consequences.
There are consequences.
You ordered ghost peppers, not a banana split.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I mean that was
Suck it.
a device used
Well
in
said.
A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
The movie A Knight's Tale,
Oh,
where,
yeah.
where Rosalind, what's the
Yeah.
I don't know. Chick
tells
that's a DJ in real life.
Tells Heath Ledger's character, it's like, you have to lose. If you really love me, you have to lose.
Oh, that's right.
And here's the other thing. When you build up this relationship with the demon, you can have them realize the demon is bad news. He's already called in one favor that was really bad. But whatever their ultimate goal is, their save the world goal that they walked in before they were stupid enough to make deals with the demons, maybe they still need to do that. And maybe at some point they're going to be backed into a corner. And the demon who enjoys feasting on despair doesn't want the world destroyed. So maybe he's going to put them in a position where they have to ask for another favor.
He also doesn't want them happy and distracted. He's feeding on their despair and their frustration.
So let the demon watch. Maybe make them have the demon give them some things that are small mistakes in their save the world goal. Because I assume, since it's kind of D&D-ish, there's probably a save the world goal.
Yeah,
Or even just this neighborhood.
Or just achieve the quest goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but put in a roadblock where the demon can help them for a bigger price, because then they already know the demon is bad news, but they're making this deal because everybody agrees we want the world to exist. That's where we keep our stuff. That's where we eat our food.
I think those are the best decisions when you choices characters make have consequences.
Right.
But B, when you have people, when your characters have to make a choice between bad and badder, and which one of those things is it? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, right. And the demon's a demon. He's going to want as much as he can get.
Yeah.
If he can up the stakes to make it even worse for them, he's gonna. He's
But-
gonna want to.
Oh yeah.
Never underestimate the power of worse.
Yeah. Never make a deal with a dragon.
But my point is, don't plan
You are
now.
crunchy,
Okay,
it's
it's like
ketchup.
yeah,
And
you know how you're going to mess with your gnome. He wants
Yeah.
that respect. So at some point after he's won it, he's going to be forced to destroy it. Or maybe the demon's going to assume the form of him and go in and blow his rep. Something.
Jen Human.
That was a big reaction.
Yeah, no, Jen Human said, do this favor. You say no? Okay, fine. And suddenly the main cheerleader of the party has a kid who passes from mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
And then it says, and then the demon comes back with a bigger favor. And if they say no again, another helpless NPC ends up.
Oh, it's very much like a mob boss.
Yeah.
You just stole my shoe. Yeah, it's very much you can play your demon however you want, but they're very manipulative and they have a lot of connections.
Yep. No,
Pretty much like
that's
a
brilliant.
mob boss.
But also, you know how you want to screw with your gnome?
Something will happen.
Wait and see what the other ones value in play. Don't play on the other. For the gnome, you've got a long game. It's going to take you a couple of months to get there, probably.
Yeah.
Because you want him to have that solid reputation before it gets destroyed, either because the demon just takes it from him, or the demon says, "I'm calling in my favor. Go destroy your rep." Go do this horrible thing that's going to destroy your rep.
Rogue asked for a map. The map changes.
Ooh.
Like
Ooh.
reading the map,
Yeah.
it's like okay.
Yeah.
And it's telling you to go. We need to go here. And there's a little thing on the map that says, "Don't go here. Here there be dangers or dragons or whatever." And look, those paths cross.
And I would have made it even worse. Every time you need to read the map, you need to skin a person.
Oh, heck.
Skin person.
No. Here be.
And that's where the map.
Here be dragons. This is dangerous. Don't go here. It's actually exactly where they need to go because it's dangerous, and they need to fix the problem there.
Here's the thing that.
But yeah, ultimately, my advice though, I won't finish this one.
Go.
Okay.
Is mess with them low key. Now, like I said, my advice, I'm going kind of really off the dark end. Your players are probably going to need a victory. Have a couple victories that don't get corrupted by the demon, or it becomes like this Game of Thrones horrible grind where no one's ever happy. And for me personally, I can't actually play that. So they do have to have a few victories in there, here and there, but have it planned where the demon is going to give them those really hard moral choices.
Yeah.
Because if the demon feeds off of despair, oh shoot, you know what? Watch Madoka Magica.
Oh God, yes.
Watch Madoka Magica. It's an anime. It's about 11-year-old girls who want to be magical girls. Get to the end of the 3rd episode before you tell me no, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Or just start at the end of the 3rd episode.
Or start with the 3rd episode, because the other parts
Yeah.
are if you kind of know the tropes and stuff, it builds to it. Start with the 3rd episode. But if you want Corrupt a Wish darkness where they think they're doing the right thing, watch Madoka Magica, and that'll give you
Spoilers.
some really good idea. Hey, I'm not saying what it is, just it goes dark, beautiful places.
Interesting.
The demon does not only eat despair, he eats anything. People, dreams, hopes, emotion in general. He just happens to love the taste of despair as he rips it from the grasp of those he has empowered.
Low key, the more they work for the demon, the less they dream. Literally, the less they dream. Their dreams start shrinking in around the edges.
See, Mary's running with this. This is her game. Here's my thought on this: is however you want to roll this out, it's going to be really fun if you just wait for a few, do a few dungeon crawls, let them follow another quest or whatever before you first hit them with the first demon call in, right? He's now we're that's going to be cool because they're going to think it was a one-off. They're not going to pay any attention to it. And when you nail them the first time, they're going to be astonished, and then they're going to be wary, and then you can start bringing in this stuff. But I think that letting it play out, letting it just waiting for that moment and dropping it is going to pay off in huge dividends.
Heck, the first one have be something where they actually do something heroic. That
Right.
side effect.
And they're going to
forwards the
forget that they made these. They're going to think that it was just like whatever. And if you just wait for that payoff, it's going to f with their world. It's going to be awesome.
Their first thing is to save a food festival. Completely heroic.
Take your
completely
time
heroic.
on this, man.
Yeah. You've
And
got.
like I said, just wait. And she has some great ideas on how to make these things and how to manipulate it and how to play a demon.
Yeah, if you ask for me on the forums, other people will actually read and remind me to check the forums. But I'm so bad at checking the forums on my own. But yeah, if you ask
Are you
me
on the
for-
forums? Do you have a
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. You've messaged me through the forums. I saw it like 3 months late.
I'm saying that by prefacing by saying you could probably direct message her if you really want to talk to her about something cool
Your
with
usual
demons.
handle?
Yeah, my usual handle. So
Cool.
it's under Rosaline Dew on the forums. And
There
but
you
yeah,
go.
if people remind me to check the forums, I might even develop the habit of checking the forums. Who knows? Maybe.
Oh, you got props for the magical
Madoka Magica.
Madoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, magical Madoka.
Yeah.
And Vampire 54 says to eventually balance the evil, give the party the choice of the good, but the good choice is always harder.
Yeah.
Demons don't ever give you a good choice, and the choice that seems best is always there's still
Yeah.
barbs.
Yeah, the personal sacrifice, and also have it set up so that, I mean, you're in an L5R setting, so it doesn't quite scale the same way. I'm still thinking D&D because you've got a gnome wizard and all that. But have them get to the point where maybe they could realistically challenge him and take him down. But don't give
Well,
him
that's
that.
the end game. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the end game.
is to actually like win free from the demon's control,
Yeah.
and however that happens.
Yeah, so
It's
like
even better if you call in his father or whatever. It's like, oh, you've been a naughty boy, and now, yeah.
Actually, as a side quest, end game quest, they actually do find the mystical artifact that will let them
Bind him.
Yeah, that or will damage him
Yeah.
or whatever. As a side quest thing, so you have a chance for a beautiful, complicated
I mean,
plot.
the best
I'm a
is-
little bit jealous, actually.
Do you recognize this bell? Yes. If I ring this, your father shows up. Yes. Do you want me to tell your father what a naughty boy you've been? No. But I think that all of these bargains that you've made are null and void. Don't you agree? Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
And that's how you can tell Stork is a Karen.
See, now for some reason I just had a demon as Rick Mail, Lord
Right.
Flashheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
And that
would be awesome.
segues into one of these
Okay.
emails. Is it the
Here we
next
go.
one?
Yeah, here we go.
Me another beer?
Over enthusiastic teens, aka short attention spans, and the impulse to be first to shoot. From Kangaroo. Greetings and salivations, cuties. Simple is best. Long-time listener, rada rada, all that shite, blah 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 forums. Australian, so obligatory cuties. Long-time resident of the UK, so obligatory fucking cutie bollocks. Fucking cutie bollocks. Does
works.
that work? That works.
That's
Okay.
my next band.
Okay. Or it could be bloody buggery bollocks. That's my favorite.
I hear bloody
Ew.
buggery
Really?
bollocks is playing the Gobi stage at
That's
Coachella
one
next
of my
year.
swears. Let's cut to the chase. Recently, I've welcomed my stepson into our regular gaming group.
Woo! New gamer.
For context, there was a bit of trepidation as I do so enjoy cutieing around with dark themes in my campaign, sprinkled lightly with Python-esque silliness for contrast.
This is Kangaroo on the forums, and having read most of your posts,
Yeah.
that shocked, I tell you.
I'm gonna
shocked
I
that
know.
this is your nature, really.
We're gonna do this is the box text on the side.
Right.
Oh, I bet
He's
he's
not-
got. I bet he could give lots of advice to
Yeah.
our last listener about how to go dark.
Total. Yeah. He's not really saying cuties. It's
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've
So
seen
the fact that he's going Python-esque.
Yeah, I've
No,
seen.
I know.
I know
I'm
Kangaroo's
subbing
personality.
cutie out for a word.
Yeah.
That I personally say in my personal life, but there we go. Think the young ones as a group of adventurers moving through a fantasy version of David Lynch's Twin Peaks.
I love the Young Ones. Did you guys ever watch the Young Ones? It was on MTV back in the day.
In my formative years.
Okay,
It's
so
why
back when I have long hair, I do a devastating Neil. Neil was the hip.
You could totally be Neil.
Totally.
Nigel Plant.
You need a Halloween costume tomorrow.
Oh, great! The lentils are spilled on the ground. Oh.
And then cut to the puppet, the rat puppets doing the
Don't be all heavy and
then
cool, man.
Obviously,
cut
confused
to
for
Madness
different-
doing
right.
the living room.
They even had Lemmy, Motorhead. They did their thing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a really cool, weird, cool show. I loved it.
Yeah, those were formative years for me. I think they imprinted on me heavily. So
I think I'm going to do Neil next Halloween. I'm
file.
going to be Neil for Halloween. Nobody's going to get it.
You should.
So by Halloween, you mean
Don't be
the
all
party
heavy
tomorrow?
and cool, man. What? Say.
See, and I would want to
Shut
be.
up and tell you the answer.
I would totally want to be Vivian.
Yeah,
Like
I can totally see
in
that.
my heart, I would want to be Rick, aka Prick, but nobody can
God rest
replace
Rick Mayall.
Yeah, right. I know. Sorry, that was a total tangent.
It really was. Anyway,
It was a big tangent.
Young Ones.
Okay.
Young Ones. Look it up.
Picture Young Ones as a group of adventurers moving through a fantasy version of David Lynch's Twin Peaks. So yeah, mature themes with smarmy postmodern deconstructionism, aka bullshit, aka the greatest gift for a GM to acquire is what I like to call the I'm amazing at playing pool when I'm drunk confidence trick. That's when you're actually shite at playing pool and can barely see the multicolored blobs on the moving sea of green felt because alcohol. But when you fluke an amazing shot, you proudly proclaim you planned it all along. So we've had, I know. So we've had to dial down some of the themes to accommodate that, or spend the next 2 hours as group explaining why and how, and when you're an adult, you'll come to understand, etc. Sorry, I said etc. Every time things get a bit self-referential or morally ambiguous.
It's all one word. I like that.
Morally ambiguous.
It is.
But hey, that's not really a problem. What is problematic at times is something far more basic and I imagine common when introducing new players to the hobby players. Thus it is perhaps worthy of discussion. Drunken consideration and several flame wars on the forum.
Only if you start them.
Marshmallows. Right.
Delicious flame wars. Let's set the scene. GM, your party enters the dark cavern and see, insert description, replete with details, evoking the senses and setting the tone, as per Stu's excellent advice from this equally excellent but short-lived GM briefing. Except about 10 words after, and C, we get GM
Verborum
coitus interrupts us. I had the other words. Verborum is new to me.
It's coitus, by the way.
Yeah, coitus interruptus.
Yes.
With teenage new player. I hit it. I hit it now. I hit it now.
Somebody already was.
I got so excited I popped my mic off for like the 12th time.
It's freaking Veruca Salt.
Yeah, no, it is.
I want to open it, and I want it now.
Yes.
Father, give
Daddy,
me
I
golden
want to
gifts.
goose that lays a golden egg.
I want to.
I want it now.
I mean,
now.
I
You do
feel
that
that
really
too.
well.
Like as soon as the word furry is said, I usually decide that NPC should die.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I hit it. I hit it now. Now, this adds credence to my theory that most bad recollections of early RPGs and murder hoboing is most likely a function of time and maturity rather than predisposition in the games themselves. When we were 15, we were all arseholes, to one degree or another. And that memories of gaming nightmares past are more products of this unfortunate phase in growing up than some nebulous, the bad old days of RPGs past.
I get that. It's a very locucious way of saying, yeah, we think back fondly on our asshole days, and yet, so you can't begrudge a kid for doing it too.
No, it's just some people,
He was dumb, stupid.
Don't.
We were dumb. We were idiots.
He was
We didn't know any
stupid.
better.
He needed the money. It
Yep.
was last week.
It's similar to the fact that I cannot, to this day, eat Nutri-Grain. a crispy malty breakfast cereal.
Everything in Australia is malty, by the way.
Right? Well, yeah, because they have Vegemite.
That's
and then
what I'm saying.
There's the
And
Marmite
actually,
in New Zealand.
You know what?
We
And they
still
are
have
delicious.
Vegemite,
Oh yeah,
don't
we still have Vegemite.
Yeah.
They
still
are
have
delicious when used correctly.
Yes, yes.
No, they are.
If you
It
use it
turns
right,
out. It turns out Americans like to slather the thing on, and even Australians are like, "Why would you do that?"
No.
No, it's a.
Yeah.
It's just a little
less
bit
than
of butter.
your pinky fingernails
Yeah.
worth on
Yeah.
a piece of bread.
Yeah,
No,
with butter.
I
With butter, yes.
Yeah, no, I eat Marmite with a spoon.
Delicious.
Marmite's different though.
Marmite is delicious.
Marmite is different from Vegemite.
And it
No,
certainly
they're- well, they're-
it certainly kept them from having to like get rid of all the sludge that they dug out of all the breweries, and
Well,
they could sell it to the public.
yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Okay, here we go. Except I lost where I was.
Because it was my
So
favorite
if you-
breakfast.
But because it was my favorite.
Where
yeah.
is it?
Second line.
Way up
page.
here. Okay, cool. I thought it was farther. Because it was my favorite breakfast cereal, breakfast ages 14 to 17. I had it every morning, but by the time I was 18, I just got sick of it.
Yeah.
The point being that there is nothing intrinsically wrong with Nutri-Grain except my experience of it. Objectively, it's still a tasty cereal. After all, I ate it every day for 3 years. And if someone out there likes it, then all power to you, carry on, and just don't offer me any. But I digress. Get back to the question, cutie. So, how do I avoid giving into my baser instinct in dealing with this? We all know, as adults, that shouting loudest and quickest doesn't give you any advantage
Well, you haven't been in America recently, but carry on.
in a TTRPG.
Because you still have to roll initiative, and it's up to the dice. Dice don't listen.
That's the
No,
very
they
next
don't.
line, actually. Yeah.
Dice don't have memory or, feels.
Luck is probability taken personally.
Nice.
After all, dice, cards, etc., tend to determine initiative, and after all, it's a table of humans who can easily pause, take a collective breath, assess, and consider their next action, all while hopefully immersing themselves in the ambience of the scene vis-a-vis the GM's descriptive exposition. Baser instinct is to revert to type and be 15 again by responding like a 15-year-old GM and creating negative consequences for impulsive, ill-considered actions.
Boy, I really wish I hadn't brought up that analogy earlier because it sounds it's really apt.
Here we go.
Little bit.
15-year-old GM. Right. So, as you charge forward, you stumble into the crevasse before the guarded altar. Roll a dex check to avoid falling to your death. What do you mean, what crevasse? Insert 15-year-old peevish tone comic book guy voice.
I can do that.
Okay, do it.
Well, if you'd let me finish describing the cavern, you would have known about it and it shouted out how you wanted to attack the guards. So,
That's obviously and totally a shitty dick cutie of a move. Personally, I prefer the B.F. Skinner style of modifying behavior by offering positive
Skinner, he's bringing Skinner in. You work in the psych field, I can tell. Yeah,
He's a smart boy.
yeah.
By offering
Nature versus nurture. Yeah, okay.
positive reinforcement for desired behaviors and avoiding negative reinforcement of negative behavior because it just works better.
Actually, it should be read in the comic book voice as well.
Oh, okay.
Personally, I prefer the B.F. Skinner style of modifying behavior by offering positive reinforcement for desired behaviors and avoiding negative reinforcement with negative behavior because it just works better. Besides, I'm an adult and I'm not a shite cutie, just a regular cutie.
For some reason, your voice does that, and my ear holes just go.
So that's the point of that voice.
Yeah,
But I also
it
feel
is.
that anytime Kangro writes in, Stork needs to read his emails in that accent in the future.
It's kangaroo,
Okay.
by the way.
Yeah, because I was close.
Actually.
Because that just fits the verbiage of the email very nicely. Good accent for the word choices.
Comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Totally stole it.
Are there like
Which
two
I
more
think is Harry
sentences?
Shearer.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
No,
So how
Azaria.
can
Azaria.
we
Hank Azaria.
curb or at least mediate this enthusiasm without destroying the enthusiasm for the game itself?
And that's the end of his.
And
that's the end of-
I've
and then
also
and there's
noticed-
footnotes. Yes.
Yeah,
and
I've
then we hit
also
footnotes
noticed
and yes.
it
Footnote
is
the
also
first.
a common trend among some, not all, older players whose experience of RPGs has been mainly computer game based, especially if they've played real time rather than turn based CRPGs. where having the player react first is crucial in increasing the odds for survival.
I'm
Hold on
going
to
to agree
that.
with him on that point.
Hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
Hold on to that thought. That's a good point.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then another
That footnote
note.
refers to a PS though, so it makes more sense if you. Yeah, we found it. We had to go hunting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A truly vapid British reality show populated by the dumbest, vain, empty-headed, and most annoyingly cutest cutie toots of all cutedom.
Of all ponydom.
Cheers!
And
In fact,
that's
cute
the young
must
ones.
be those
He's trying to define the young ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only way is Essex.
Oh.
Essex.
Aussie, Aaron,
Yeah.
kangaroo on the forums.
It's a kangaroo.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else want to read the PSs? I read a lot.
I can take the top
Please
PS. As an aside, the murder hoboing, I have great faith, will pass with time and gentle mentoring. I may be 50 now, but still remember being 15, who didn't want to watch the world burn sometimes when they were 15.
Yeah,
Hell,
yeah.
even at 50, late at night when watching another advert for The Only Way is Essex, the vapid TV show mentioned in the footnote we read before the PS.
Right.
Haunts the telly. I entertain fantasies of being locked in a room with the cast, a large warhammer, and 5 minutes total exception from all penalties of the law. PPS, I may actually have cut and pasted previous PS from the main body just so I could add the mandatory PS as well as the mandatory PPS.
That would explain the
That's why the okay.
Right.
Yes,
because
and-
those were little notes that I didn't
Yes.
see.
Yeah, they placed themselves oddly during cut and
Yes.
paste. And Stork, you need to read the last one.
Okay. Mongoose Traveler does have a magic system.
So anybody who wants that little sound bite for their phone, there you go.
Please read the attached file and repeat this
Yeah.
sentence.
This sentence. This sentence. This sentence. Sorry.
All right, so back to the problem, which is being impatient to kill things. First of all, I feel you, because some nights when we encounter things, I'm kind of like, can we just kill it, please? I want to roll for initiative and have a very slow, dull session while we all forget how to do our combat moves.
Please
Sometimes,
stop talking to my experience points.
yeah. I mean, we all have days like that where that is where we are at.
Yeah.
However, if the problem is that you don't get to finish your descriptions, there's... well, first of all, sometimes if the kid doesn't listen, maybe instead of saying, okay, you have to roll for this, you might just narratively say, you start to charge forward, but then realize that you had initially missed the continue your description. So you have acknowledged their desire to kill, but you fill in a little bit more so they can decide to kill by picking up the antique chair instead of by throwing the vase next to them. You know, make sure they're fully aware what their attack options are. Kind of phrase it in those terms to cater to that, but still let you describe. The other choice is don't tell them what's in the room to attack until the end of your description. You walk into this space, you describe it, and stand at the very end. And standing in the middle of the room is the thing they can actually attack. So that if he attacks before that, he's attacking furniture, which again, I feel that there are some nights where that is absolutely what you want to do.
Totally. Yeah.
Mary zeroed in exactly what I was going to say. My piece of advice for you is wait to the very end to describe what the big bad is. Describe the world, describe everything that's going to happen when they first walk in,
Yep.
and then explain who the enemy is. Because at that point, I mean, you could explain, you know, it looks like there might be traps, or look like there, and then say, and outstanding on the dais is Dr. Douche. Did you say there were traps?
Douche.
What was that thing about traps?
Yeah.
And now they might have pause. And to his credit, because, dude, you've outed yourself. We know you work in psych. You know how to deal with your
Yeah.
stepson. You know what the problem is, and you've acknowledged it, and you were celebrating it. I think the deeper problem is you're dealing with the demons in yourself, which is you really want to light the thing on fire sometimes, and you really want that 15-year-old kid to have that moment where you light the thing on fire and just attack it, and yet there's still the game that has to be played with the other adults. That I can't solve that for you, man. I mean, you can feed that
Physician
15-year-old
heal
boy,
thyself.
right? You can give that 15-year-old boy some things to hit now and again, but for the most part, I mean, you're playing two different games, and trying to cater to both. You're going to have to find a happy medium, or train the kid to just be patient, or throw him an orc or two and let everybody else can
Yeah, because I was going
talk.
to say sometimes you got to work that shit out. Like,
We're dealing with a big age difference, and you also, here's the other
Yeah.
thing, and the other elephant in the room is that you don't want to scare the kid off from role-playing games. You don't want to make this so intellectual and so talky that he
Yeah.
gets bored and goes back up and plays Xbox. You don't want that to happen, so you want to keep him there. You want to keep his interest, and you want to throw him a bone. But how do you do that without
You
Pissing off your other players.
Don't get too florid in your description. You walk
Florid?
Florid. You walk into the room.
Yeah.
There's an
Is that what they
original.
put in water to keep our teeth from falling out?
No, that's
No.
fluorine or fluoride. Yeah.
Carry on.
So you walk into the room.
Colorfully descriptive.
Purple prose.
Yeah.
Purple prose, thank you, yes.
Okay.
You walk into the room, there's an original Caravaggio taking up all of the entirety of one wall, and on the other wall there are various sconces with various, and at the far end of the room, you can sort of make out an ornate throne on a dais, but none of that really matters, because there's a 15-foot tall ogre right in the middle of the room.
Again, Mary's apt description, which
Exactly.
is wait to the
Right.
very end.
Yeah.
The other thing to consider, having never sat down at your table, is try timing yourself when you're giving a room description. Because one of the GMs I'm playing under right now, he was a theater major, and occasionally he forgets, and he activates his monologue skill instead of his storyteller skill.
Yeah.
We had a session where we had, it felt like about half an hour of detailed description of this party room, where he told us about the drapes and the paintings and the costumes of everybody there, but didn't actually give us a single hook to act on. So
Right,
when he
so we're
got
standing
to
in
the
the
end
door.
of that, he's like, "And what do you do?" And we're like, "I finished walking down the stairs."
Yeah.
Well,
Seriously, it was
So-
a 35, maybe 45-minute description of a room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't
Even
retain.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah. So do give yourself a check, especially if you are actually reading text you wrote out. Maybe even grab your camera, film yourself doing it, and then try to watch it with a critical eye to see if there's something you can do to improve your performance on presenting that information. And that goes for any GM, actually. Like, at some point, set up your phone, film yourself covering a room description, see how long you spend on it, because sometimes it's great in your head and it comes out of your mouth all wrong. Give it a test. And just see if maybe you actually are giving the few too many details. Maybe they don't need to know the color of the tiles if that's where you're going.
well, yeah.
And I'm not saying you are, but check yourself on that just to see if maybe you have fallen into getting a little too verbally cinematic.
It's hard to balance sometimes, but there is a balance, and you just have to read the table too, between being descriptive enough so that people know that they can engage and interact with the things in the room, and not just boring people like you're reading a ton of box text. And then the other thing I was thinking about is maybe regardless, if you are descriptive, which I think most people are going to prefer so that they can engage with the elements, you run the risk sometimes of people thinking, oh, they're describing these things because they're important. Do you remember that story
Yeah.
about the picture of the woman with the flowers in the room? And there was it wasn't a lich, was it a vampire?
I think it
And,
was.
Or was it a lich?
I think it was a lich.
Yeah. Do you remember what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? That letter where the person was like, they were like, I ran back to the room and I take the portrait. You never loved her.
Right,
you know?
right. It was-
But also, that's awesome.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
It
who
is.
cares?
It is.
Yeah. Whether it was
Whether
there or
whether
not.
it was planned or not, the person
Yeah.
roll with it. But
Barring interruptions, no room should take longer than
No.
5 minutes to
I
describe.
think you guys are latching on to his whole time thing. I think he's aware
Yeah.
of that. I think
Okay.
I
Okay.
think the bigger issue, if you want to pull out of the whole macro or the micro stuff, the bigger issue is he's trying to balance this for a 15-year-old new time gamer, and he's running into the thing that we all do, which is my kid is playing with me, and I want him to be excited about this hobby that I love, but he's playing with my mates, and I want them to still be engaged too,
Yeah.
and therein lies a lot of pitfalls. So whether it's your girlfriend, which is it's Gina the Unkillable, or your kid, which
That's
is
awesome.
it's Zachary the every magic weapon collector of all, or whether you run into these things, which is you are trying to bring your child, your progeny, your friend, your girlfriend, somebody you care about into this, and you don't want to, and it's hard. And you find yourself, and Kangaroo is very self-aware, more self-aware, I think, than most people.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
he's probably
Yeah.
second-guessing every turn he's making here. The only advice I can give you is let your kid discover this game on his own merits. And here's the thing, because you guys have been playing this game, and
Yeah.
Jib talks about this all the time. He's seen how this game plays. He's seen the pluses and minuses. He's seen you guys' game. He's seen the beauty of it. He wants to now join in. Don't insult this intelligence. Don't low ball, softball, soft pitch. Don't
lob softballs.
don't lob softballs at him. Monitor your behavior, monitor your language, but you know what?
Or don't monitor your language.
I get it. He does want to kill things first time up, and as you say, that's going to pass. But give him challenging things to do.
Yeah.
Give him intellectual things to do. Don't just dismiss this as a phase. Give him,
I think he's got that, absolutely.
I know he does. And
Yeah.
really what he said to us, there's no advice I can give him that he doesn't already know. He's setting us up to just be arseholes.
Yeah. Well,
I know I'm going to hear about
yeah.
this on the forum.
Well, honestly, this is what you have anytime you have a gaming group with mixed goals, mixed interests.
Yep.
And I'm in some of those gaming groups where some people would much rather murder hobo than have a morally ambiguous situation to deal with.
Right.
And
you also don't want your kid to piss off your friends.
Or sometimes you do. I mean,
or maybe, yeah. I don't know, it's a.
yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
To me, that's the bigger picture of this email.
No, I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't know. I guess that's what I meant earlier when I said sometimes you have to let them go through it.
But it's like you can also mix up your sessions. Maybe put in a small chance to murder hobo, end on a cliffhanger even, small chance to murder hobo so he gets that as that first shot and then move on to a more complicated situation. Because it might also be, as a new player, he doesn't know how to engage with those more complicated situations.
Right.
You don't get them in video games. Your choice is,
right.
Kill something or buy some swords or steal all the books in Skyrim. I mean...
That was the point you wanted to make earlier.
Yeah.
About video games informing people's role-playing.
Yeah, well,
currently.
and not just informing the role-playing because there are very set decisions that are allowed, like Mary mentioned, but in real-time video games, especially MMOs, you've got getting that first strike in can mean the difference in the fight. And since initiative is not determined by dice or cards, but rather literally how fast you can click the mouse button.
That's true.
Then that mindset will fill your head, and that's just the only way you can think of, this is the best way to win the fight.
Well,
hit early, hit often, hit hard.
I also think his point was when you're 15 or you're 14 and you're playing those games, you are the hammer and everything looks like a nail.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can set stuff up till you turn blue, but it could be hockey social interaction, but I'm gonna shoot him in the face.
There's also a style of play, yes.
Yeah.
But there's also a style of play. And we encountered this in our 4E game. There were a group of players that had never role-played a tabletop role-playing game, and they approached the game like they would have WoW, where they were a healer and they knew their role, and they played it well, but they didn't kind of grok the whole role-playing thing. They were very mechanical in a sense, and they were very much, this is my role, this is what I do, and it there's a disconnect there, which is like you're not. You're not role playing. You're
role playing.
You're still playing a video game, but it's on.
You're not playing a character. You're playing a role.
And that's a hard thing to kind of break, because if that was your entry in, and it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a great entry in, but there's maybe a maturity where you go, wow, it's not all mechanics. It's not all about min-maxing. Because that way lies madness, that leads to min-maxing and power gamers. There's a point where, like, what if I build a flawed character and just talk and play and walk around the world, as opposed to trying to win all the time, because it's not all about combat. Go ahead, Mary.
No, just I realized he says, I want to hit it now. Tell him to make a perception check. If he makes his perception check, you finish describing the room, because he notices all of it before he charges in. And maybe he notices something useful.
That's a good solution.
Ask him for a perception check, and then all of a sudden it's up to the dice if you finish describing the room before they engage or not. Your other players who are more experienced are probably going to still want that description. And sometimes their reaction is going to be, my higher initiative, I use it to grab his shoulder and pull him back.
Could be.
But just as something to try, as a way to give him a chance, but still maybe get in the description, because maybe you did plan this room with a chasm and he really needs to know it before he charges forward. Ask for a perception check, and maybe that'll help.
if it's just a short attention span theater, I mean, Stu is very good at this, which is making sure that every player has a moment or something they do each game. And if that's his jam, man, then yeah, set up an encounter where he just mows through the skeletons while everybody else figures out what the trap is. I'll hold them off. You guys do the math.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've played
that's
those
what it
games.
is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've tried to run those games.
I don't know.
Cool.
You're a smart guy, dude. I don't even know why you're writing in about this because I think you're setting us up.
No,
for,
he said it's because he wants to start playing more on the forums.
Okay.
It's just also a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I apologize for bastardizing your awesome Australianism stuff.
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. It's
You and
really
I
a good
can-
play.
Yeah.
Play on
Yeah.
words there. It's a
Yeah.
pun, you know.
It
Yeah.
is. We can
No,
Skype
it's
one
not a
day
pun,
and
it's
we
a
can
palindrome.
really. we can
Palindrome.
use
Is
a
that the same
real-
backwards as forwards?
The actual
Kangaroo.
I've broken Stork. In the meantime,
Kangaroo.
Not a palindrome.
not nom.
I
so,
can't do it.
hey.
I've had a little bit of bourbon. Not much.
I think a little bourbon.
Actually, no, you haven't had that much.
No, I haven't.
Who's
Yeah, I
next?
was just
Who's on
pretending.
next?
Well, we've got a question here for the people on the
all right, I'll read it. Okay.
Oh,
Well, no, it's
but-
block C.
no,
You're skipping block C.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
yeah.
Oh, there's
So-
a
He
person there.
actually has an answer
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
thing. Who
So-
played what this week?
What didn't
I
I,
have
play this
answers
week?
too. You go first.
All right, so if we go back a week and a half, since I'm not a usual host, I played
Yeah.
in a Dying Kingdoms tabletop session. Dying Kingdoms is a tabletop session.
No, I know.
So,
I'm like,
yeah.
ooh. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
like-
was good. I played in the Pirate game, which airs every other Wednesday, and Gina and Kurt are both in that.
No.
Yar.
I think
Yeah.
I played Vampired the Superheroisms.
Come on.
No. It's
It
that way that this particular GM runs it's.
At one point, we had
much
a
more-
fight interrupted by Tim Gunn coming in on an airship with machine guns in order to save us.
That's Tim
at
Gunn.
the top of the Tim Gunn at the top of the Empire.
Love
State
that
Building.
man, but still.
No, it's the Statue of Liberty.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
You corrected her, you know.
Yeah. No, I corrected him. He was wrong in the first
No,
place.
she was, I was wrong. I was wrong.
And then there's also the two D&D games I'm in. But the one that's really interesting is the Dying Kingdoms tabletop game, because it is a LARP game. Everybody's stats are LARP stats, which are designed to be as seamless in the background so you can just immerse yourself in the playing. And they found a way to take those and make those tabletop. So you almost never roll. If you have a lore skill, you're probably going to get the answer. If you have a specific lore skill, you get a better answer, just like straight up.
I'm kind of a big fan about lore stuff anyway. If it's something
Yeah.
you need to know, just let them know.
Yeah.
We've talked about that ad nauseum, but so I like that, yeah.
So
Good
actually,
mechanic.
like my friend Rachel actually was the GM, and she was on an actual play
that I ran.
that Kurt ran
yeah.
a couple months back, a year back. I don't know how long ago is that now.
That was back in January of this
Yeah.
past year. Yeah.
But my friend Rachel was running the table, so she'd come to something and she'd be kind of like, "Oh, does anybody have lore this?" And we'd all kind of double check our sheets because there were like
Yeah.
3 new players at the table who barely knew their sheets, including me. It's my first time playing DK anything, so I was
Okay.
like, "Right, I have 10 things on my sheet. Is that a lot?" And I'm looking over, going, "Oh, they have 90 things on their sheet. I don't have a lot."
Whoa.
It was a very mixed table.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to a vampire who is close to hitting retirement in their game, because once you hit a certain level of XP, your character retires, goes on to
Really?
yeah, and then you pick up a new character.
Dying
So,
Kingdoms
They-
has like 1 million people playing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
They have it's a large
yeah.
LARP. Yeah.
so if it was something where it really was a question of whether or not you would succeed, then you rolled 2d6 and you had to score a 8 or higher. And if you or 7 or higher, you had a better than half chance of 7 or higher, and you
Traveler.
succeeded.
2d6, 8 or higher.
No, it's 7 higher, so it's Apocalypse.
Yeah, 7 or higher,
Yeah.
and 7 or higher, no modifiers, just whether or not you could try to do it. Only modifiers with very specific combat situations. And because I had a complete noob character, that when I made her, I gave her 0 fighting skills. As a default, she knew how to use a dagger, because everyone knows how to use a dagger. I did an amazing job of managing to be useful, and I came out of the game setting up a trade route for smoked Gouda.
Hey, listen.
That is the most Mary thing I've ever heard you say.
I did not decide that it was the city of smoked Gouda. Rachel did that because she did research on the cheeses of Europe.
And on you.
That's one of the best things I can say about Travelers. And you guys are around with the game when we had you guys come up with Traveler characters. What I love about it is that you come up with these characters that are you now have to play. It wouldn't be the character that you picked.
Yeah.
And then these amazing things happen out of this character you are now forced to play. So you made a character, whether you meant to or not, that wasn't a combat monkey, and
very deliberate, not a combat
wonderful
monkey.
things have happened because of it.
I mean, she also had a vampire feed on her, consensually, I might add. And then when she went to sleep it off, they came back and decided, no, you have good ideas. They woke her up while she was trying to sleep off being fed on by the vampire. And so it's like I got to play cranky, sleepy me. And we sacrificed 12 crates of blood to the sun.
I apologize to the other players in that game.
I'm gonna go next. Are you? Is that all the stuff you played, or you played more?
That was really the highlight. It was just they have an amazing, flexible system where they really took the streamlinedness of LARP to make a very simple system for tabletop games. You do kind of have to have your own character. So, like, if you're at the Strategicons and you would just want to jump in on the tabletop games they tend to run on Saturday afternoons.
I've done that once.
Okay.
It helps to at least read their stuff on their website and walk in with a character idea. But
they usually do have pre-gens, though.
they'll have a few pre-gens, but if you want to make a character and come in on it earlier, that's even better because then you're set up to join their LARP or just do tabletops for a couple of years till your character runs out. But it was really good, really friendly group, easy to jump in with, and
I've heard
really
nothing but amazing things about Dying Kingdoms. And Paul Tavis, who started a little organization I'm part of,
Name dropping.
Lords of Barkon. Started. He's one of the forefathers.
And they have a camper coming up where they desperately need NPCs. So if you want an NPC in a LARP, which is much lower investment, that's coming up in like 3 weeks, and I have to make costumes for my new character. But if you show up to NPC, they really set you up with a lot of stuff.
And like all people that sew, you're going to wait till the night before to
No, she's been working on it.
No, I've been working on my costume for my vampire LARP character for the Sabak Gangrel.
Right.
I'm making a fucking motorcycle jacket.
I had to sew a
buy those.
button on this sweater today, and I felt like a fucking pioneer woman. I'm serious.
Buttons are the devil.
Buttons
are the devil.
Neanderthal or pioneer people felt
I
like.
hate
Victorian England.
The only thing I hate more than buttons is zippers. And this fucking motorcycle jacket has 5 zippers.
Yeah, no, I don't sew.
You know they sell those.
I don't sew.
Yeah, I bought the
People
zippers
sew.
and I attached them to the jacket because I wanted a green jacket.
You pay people money, they sew. You do bespoke. That's what. Or I feel like a pioneer woman.
What I'm looking forward to doing is making chainmail to put on the shoulders of the jacket.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Buy that too.
So which one of us is going to take this next one?
I know.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I've been waiting
I'm sorry.
quasi-politely
apologies.
over here
My apologies.
because I'm like, I played a million things, and I'm not gonna describe them all in full. But you can ping me on the forums if you want to know anything in detail. Because I went to Big Bad Con and played awesome games. But I also, for Happy Jacks, I played Dead Rain, which you should totally tune into because it's by Palladium Books, and we just had our 3rd episode. We're going to do 3 weeks in a row. So
there's a couple of firsts here. First of all, Palladium sponsoring it. They gave us a first look and first story, and then it's also a first sort of co-GM between CA Dave and Stu.
it is. So co-GMing on the stream, which I think is really interesting to watch. And some really interesting characters at the table. And Kimmy and I are chomping at the bit because we're playing sisters. So we will start getting sister stuff going on, and then we will get coitus interruptus. Thank you, Kangaroo. And we're just like,
coitus. It's coitus.
Well, it's not, but it's like the RP coitus interruptus. So it's not
it's
sisters.
not. I know about coitus interruptus.
What
coitus.
I find fascinating about that game is that you two are trying to be sisters.
Yeah.
Whereas Rob and Horky basically are brothers.
No, I know. And
they
have
grew up together, so.
a flippin' backstory in my head. And I don't do like the flesh out all the things. I've started to do this thing now where I have scenes. So it'd be like if you said memory. There's 3 memories you have, and it's this one, and this one. So and that helps kind of inform for me how that character interacts with certain people and what has kind of made her who she is. So
You're only, what, 3 episodes in? It takes a long time to get a handle on the character. It really does.
No, so we're both chomping at the bit to do some more stuff with that. And we had a lot of fun this last week. There were a lot of, it's zombie apocalypse.
So how many games a week do you play, really?
2 to 3.
And how many games a week
Maybe.
do you play?
Let's say 2 on average.
It probably averages to 3 games a week.
That sounds about
How many
right.
games do
Plus,
you play,
there's
Karen?
also my LARP between games
not that we're
scenes
putting our
online.
dicks on the table or anything like that. With
No, I'm just asking because
I know,
I'm like apparently in the minority here, which is like once every 2 weeks.
Every Tuesday, every other Wednesday, every other Thursday, and every other
Yeah,
Saturday.
see,
Yeah.
and I
So
And then I have LARP games that we do online scenes between games too.
LARPs
so.
don't count.
yeah.
plus the LARP.
No, it's like
Plus
play
the
on
LARP.
forums, play by email stuff,
It
and
counts. I'm just being
yeah.
No, and I totally want to play more. So, because tap that vein. I just
More LARPing or just
no,
more playing?
Just games.
Feel
You
I wanna
play all the
more.
time. At one point, didn't you have a game every day, a week?
No, I wish, but I don't. I have to.
It was a
work.
while.
I had a
It was a
job,
while
but-
ago.
No, I had a lot. But I also played this week.
Okay.
Super excited. I got to guest in Max Razor Ridge
Oh,
Werewolf,
that was
the
right.
Wild
That's
West
right.
game.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun.
You stole it.
Did you have a special hat for that
Oh,
one?
seriously?
Yeah,
That
you
is the
did.
sweetest thing.
You
Coming
got
from
it
you,
so
for
great
sure.
that I-
Did you wear a
Yeah,
cowboy
you-
hat?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't. I almost did like my little ear bun things because I wanted to be werewolf.
Death rides
ears.
a pale horse, and its name is
Yeah.
Daisy.
Patsy Amaranthus. Horse named Daisy. Yeah. Yeah, no, I had so much fun that I was like, please somebody be sick next week so I can play again. And then please somebody.
Amaranthus.
Yeah.
She's a werewolf as well, right? She rides in on a like I just
On a horse,
just
yeah.
pictured this horse with the hat, and it's sort of like a sway bag nag,
Yeah.
and she's all cluck, cluck,
Well, and
hobbledehoy,
Mac and I totally had
hobbledehoy.
the
Yep.
the heart moment because I was like, one of the reasons I totally wanted to do this,
Women like her.
dark.
Like we know what that is, huh?
No, Blades in the Dark, new hotness. Come on.
No,
You guys
we
know.
no, we
Really?
have no
No
idea.
idea what it is.
Haven't heard of that
Well,
one.
it's PBTA in spirit.
Okay.
You're rolling 2d6, but it has a lot of the I guess the philosophy of the game is very PBTA, but it departs mechanically from PBTA quite a bit. But it's got the same like spirit of the law, not letter.
Where does
of
it
law.
depart? I mean, how so?
Because you're not doing the roll 2d6 and 7 and 9 as and a 10 plus as an auto success.
All
And you're playing basically a band, a crew of shifty somethings. Your assassins, your bandits, and this word.
So it's front loaded
world-
really with the fact that you guys are playing maybe
Yeah.
bad guys, probably bad guys.
Oh, totally. This word Duskfall, the world Duskfall has also some supernatural elements, but yeah, you're a gang and you are trying to stake out more turf, and there are gang wars, and there are
Sounds like
people that-
vampire.
No, it's brilliant, and there are team mechanics, and it uses the flashback mechanic also, which like Leverage
Ooh.
uses to great success.
Cool.
It's just so the game I played is a hack of that called Scum and Villainy.
Because it
Promising.
couldn't get worse until Scum and Villainy.
No, because then
That
you get
does that
Scum
mean
and-
Star Wars?
It means space opera.
Yep.
Yep. So that was badass
It
to
means moon conflict.
it goes to 11.
Yep, nub.
It was a lot of fun.
Bounty hunters, alien races, tentacles.
Yep.
It's all there.
Yep. I played
Sarlacc.
another Tears in the Kisses game, which is probably the best one I've ever played so far. I picked up a playbook. I like cyberpunk and I like sci-fi. I never get wanting to play the AI. So I picked up the AI playbook because it always gets picked, and I was like, why do people want to play an AI? And that shit was amazing.
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. You
Yeah.
are the leader. You
No,
are.
I decided I was going to play a breeder AI.
Oh.
Because in the world that we constructed, there was a ton of radiation and stuff, so people could have kids, but they had mutations and they had issues, and there, the miscarry rate was like, not 1/3 or 40%. It was like crazy pants. So that rich people hired, or like would, it's all like uterus.
So you're a nurse.
No, it's like I'm an AI that carries a baby and then imprints the
Right,
social.
you're the wet nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're carrying the baby.
More of a
No.
more of a
Surrogate.
Surrogate, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Surrogate
Yeah.
womb.
Yeah.
That sounds really
It was
interesting.
so freaking cool. And so the AI, you've basically the construct is that you've broken out. So somehow, whatever this world is that you create, you've escaped.
This baby's mine. I'm taking
So
it.
I totally was like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally inception date, like 28
Yeah.
days.
Wow.
I got a baby. So it was just awesome. It was a fantastic game. I had a lot of fun. And I also played, and I'm going to blank on some other stuff, but I played, and I'm saying this for you, Joe Crack, because I played WWW,
First time?
Worldwide Wrestling, PBTA.
WWW?
Yeah, Worldwide Wrestling. It's a PBTA
Oh, okay.
game.
Yeah.
Because I can't say WWE because that's a.
And I'm
brand
sorry
name.
because it was
been
called
around a while.
Glam Slam.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Oh.
right.
So
Glow.
more glow.
Yeah, and it was so fun. It was just I want more of that in my future.
Just slamming things into the net and doing
Yeah.
competitions and
I played the Golden Girl, and you get to come up with your shtick and like and so she's a face, like a baby face, and I wasn't a heel, but you get to.
Let me ask you, would that be a campaign or is it just fun to have a one-off that way?
Oh, you could totally do a campaign.
Like in between wrestling games and
Yeah,
the
no, 'cause
heel
there's
is
totally
pursuing you.
yeah,
or,
because it's like.
Well, WWE is a soap opera for men, basically.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and there is total backstory, and there's the behind the scenes and what's happening in the locker room.
Really?
And
Okay, that's cool.
What is the man? What is what are the producers telling you to do? Who's going to win the match? Who's going to throw
No,
the match?
I get
who's
it.
gonna-
It's very much like the Pulp Fiction with the character, the boxer character,
Yeah.
who's very much like you're
Yeah.
paid to do
Yeah.
this, and he has to make all these decisions. Yeah.
So there's totally like a story that will develop, and we
Which,
got to
yeah.
do like a highlights reel for our characters. So then all this stuff came out where my character was kind of like I said, it was the baby face kind of golden girl.
Always the hero, never the
But
villain.
the killer Katya was the major heel who was up against me and had stolen my on-air boyfriend, whose name I decided was Bo something.
That was a
Regard.
good name for an honor boyfriend. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, it was
Burnham.
Bo somebody. But she had stolen him and mind
Jess.
washed. Yeah, and totally brainwashed him. So he was totally an agent for the Mother Russia. And so he would be at ringside, and my highlight reel was totally like me with a tear. And my character's name was Baby Belle. Because I was a cheese.
So it was Belle and
I was from
Bo.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
So you were Belle
Yeah.
and Bo.
Yeah, Belle and Bo. Yeah, Belle and Bo. And I was pouring pitchers of milk, walking in with my little
job.
cow. And
Just doing the Wisconsin thing. Oh, it's
yeah,
awesome.
it was so fun. Sorry, I was.
This would be more.
But it was a blast. And Joe Crack has done these cards for that game called Heat Cards. I got to order, and I had them just in time for the game. So it was cool. Did you guys play stuff?
Nope.
Yeah, nothing
Mary
really.
and I
worth-
played all the games. For
Yeah.
you.
Chris played in almost every game I was in.
Yeah, I was in
Not
most of the games that she was in. Just, nothing more to comment on. That's all.
Cool. Oh, I played Torchbearer, too. Boom. Amazing.
All right, so this one
Okay.
says, "Dear Stork." Do
Go
you
for
want
it.
to read it, or shall I?
Go ahead. You can read it. 'cause
All right.
Reading an email actually addresses
Added
something.
bonus if you read it to him
Doesn't
like
allow
it
me
is a
to
love
give the
letter.
appropriate facial responses. So go ahead.
Social skill rolls and min-maxing from Axel, and I have strong opinions about this. So, dear Stork. Oh, and hello, other Happy Jackers too.
That'd be you guys, I guess.
I'm addressing this to Stork because he reminds me so much of a really good RPG friend of mine that I always smile when I hear him talk, and to throw you off your usual stew in the doucherinos trope.
So he's a loser too.
My
Sorry.
favorite RPG conundrum of all time is the handling of social skills in most games. Not from a rules perspective, but from an actual play perspective. I find the social skills completely inferior to physical or mental skills in virtually any game I've played in, seen, or listened to.
That is
okay.
a very interesting point.
He hasn't seen me play social skills.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
no.
couple
Well,
of-
but his point is mechanically. I think
well,
it's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So, for instance, so you want to hit or hurt or kill someone, roll attack, then resolve damage. Want to pick that lock? Roll your skill, see what happens. Cast a spell, magic rules apply. Figure out that encrypted message, roll intelligence and lore, or similar. But if you want to perform some communicative feat, things get tricky. What exactly do you say to the guard so he lets you through the door? How do you convince the dwarf to lend you his magic axe so you can kill the werewolf? Or even, what is your approach when convincing other members of your party that your plan is great? All of these situations could be resolved with a simple dice roll in most RPG systems. There's social attributes and skills that apply, modifiers, resistance rolls, etc. Most RPGs even have more differentiated rules for fast talking, acting, seduction, and so on. But we hardly ever use them.
Bingo.
Because acting out these social interactions are a huge part of what makes RPGs fun. I get it. You, as a player, want to convince players or NPCs or opponents, not just your character's skill points and a dice roll. How much fun would a game be if everything was resolved with some stupid skill check? Well, then it would be a board game. Problem is, RPG systems don't account for the fact that you 100% need your character's combat and physical and supernatural skills. But you can pretty much get by without investing in social skills at all, unless you have otherworldly professional players and GMs that manage to just play their antisocial characters and still have fun with it.
Or they play a bard.
No.
In most normal games...
Where nobody plays a bard.
In most normal games, this leads to social skills being far less impactful than physical or mental skills. Hence, players learn quickly it's much more useful to have high dex and weapon than it is to have high presence and acting.
Yep.
So in essence, social skill rules in RPGs create the problem of min-maxing.
Yep.
A good GM and a group can remedy this somewhat, but it's difficult. Wouldn't an RPG system that simulates only the physical stuff and rules and leaves the social aspects to role-playing leaves the social aspects to role-playing only make a lot of sense? Drink.
I had to say beers for Kurt, so I have nothing to drink
They're
anymore.
my beers.
I know. I drank 2 of them. Thank you.
Discuss.
There's
bourbon.
delicious bourbon down here.
And there's a page turn here.
It's Discuss.
It's really good.
From Axel. Not on the forums, because I know if I get on the forums, I'll waste too much time there, and that could be better spent playing a game.
Right?
Fair, okay.
Nice. Yeah, actually, you got us there.
I'm with you there. P.S. Finally got round to listening to the Mode of Sin actual plays. It's great to be able to binge listen to hours and hours on end during my commute.
A lot of hours.
What, 37?
A lot of hours.
Sessions?
It's 3 years.
Most of them 4 hours long.
3 years of playing.
I mean, that's
That's a good game.
100 and a lot.
Yeah.
So, social skills.
So yeah, yeah. So I want to approach this first with the granddaddy of them all, D&D. One of the games that Mary and I are in right now, when we were rolling up our stats, the GM had a very specific rule. He said, "Okay, roll 5 times. You know, you're rolling your 4d6 and taking the top 3, right? You roll that 5 times. Then roll it a 6th time. That's your charisma stat. You can swap out your charisma stat with something else, but not to make it lower.
Oh.
So your charisma stat could not
Okay.
be a dump stat.
Unless you rolled that badly and it didn't matter to you.
Well, I mean, if you happen to roll that badly on that one, but for instance, I played a bard and then a paladin. Both of them are charisma-based
Sure.
characters. I obviously wasn't going to make charisma a dump stat.
Yeah.
But how oftentimes do we do that? I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter because I can play it.
It's really fun to play a low charisma character, though.
Can be.
Because that was a friend ran a game where the world got wibbly wobbly because of a
Yeah.
chaos demon. So we kept cycling into different worlds when significant events happened. Such a good game.
It was an awesome game. Yeah.
Our party was mixed race, but we were in a heavily human area, and I was the only human. So I had charisma penalties. We started off in D&D. We switched over into
sure,
Savage
yeah.
Worlds because it was right when 4E was in its test phase, and he got pissed off with the fact we had to keep rebuilding our... No, it was 4. Wasn't it 4?
No, it was 5e. It was 5e playtest. D&D next. It was
No.
D&D Next.
I thought it was 4E playtest because how long ago it was.
Don't let
No.
the facts get in
Okay,
the way.
but
Right,
basically
exactly.
we got pissed off over the fact we had to keep
Yeah.
rebuilding our characters, and it got harder and
Yeah.
harder as we leveled up because it's like, how did I do this in the first? Oh, that skill is
Yeah.
gone. And so we
Yeah.
switched over to Savage Worlds because it got too complicated. So I had charisma penalties, but I was the party leader. So I had to figure out how in play, I was the party face. I was the only human. So everybody
Yeah.
else
Yep.
essentially had penalties while they were interacting no matter what their score was.
Yep.
I had to figure out how to constantly shoot myself in the foot to play this socially lacking character. And
Yeah.
I had so much fun doing that.
Why is that so much fun? Because I have so much fun when I do that too. Zara it was on the Happy Jack stream, the Desert of Despair game, ended up kind of being the face character a bunch of times.
Because your mistakes make the story.
Yeah, and she's very
Yeah.
should not have been the face because she's like Jessica Jones.
Bad idea is best idea. If you do
Yeah.
the bad idea,
Or just
you get a
rude
great
to people
story.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
blunt.
Yeah.
And if you're not botching
Yeah.
all the time, then botch rolls tend to lead to wonderful events in the story of the game.
Gilblins.
Right.
Yeah.
I swear, every time I start a new game, my first botch is always on some kind of lore check. And I cling to that mistake for the entire rest of the campaign.
I had to tell them
Goblins
on
come from the sea. What?
I think it was on the stream on Wednesday night, Stork. I don't know if you caught it, but I had to tell them, and I was actually rolling really well, but somehow it came up that I was like, oh no, Stork has asked me to change my dice before.
Oh,
we played
that was during
Savage Worlds.
during the pirate game actually.
Oh, that's what
During
it
the
was.
pirate game, he's like, Stork
Yeah.
told me to change my dice.
Yeah, I'm like, when you're sitting next to Stork and he tells you to change your dice,
You need to change your dice.
you got a lot of swings in your dice rolling.
Going back to the whole social versus
Yeah.
combat thing, I remember years ago,
I've used my social
Bill Roper
skills
and
in
I had a
combat.
discussion about this, which was,
Yeah.
you guys are too young to know, but back in the day, you got assigned experience by what you killed, and so the fighter would get all this XP, but the druid and clerics maybe not so much, and it was almost like the fighter got all the tips and you guys got the paycheck. So it's like you got your minimum wage, but the fighters got all. So they would advance further, and it's almost like, and it happened in MMOs early on too, which is you got
kill sniping
rewarded
got
just
really
for
important.
killing things.
Yeah.
If you were to try to figure out another way to get around the dragon rather than just killing it, you didn't get XP, and you got dinged. You got punished for not killing something, and I think that's a. It's almost a pervasive thing in role playing. It's like if you don't kill it, you haven't won. If you don't kill it, you don't get XP. And I don't think that that's right. A lot of games these days, Powered by the Apocalypse, Fate, and such, have tried to correct that. Sometimes with mechanics, sometimes just in general ambiance. But it's changed a lot since back in the day, and but it's still there. It's still, if you don't kill it, you don't get experience. I mean, with the vampire game, everybody gets experience unilaterally across the board. It's like you all get paid the same.
Well, because is that I played much more Requiem than I have Masquerade. Like, don't you do the same stuff technically when you do, like, if you've played your character stuff and you've driven the story and stuff? Because that's Requiem. Or is it just like
you don't get XP based on what you killed in Vampire or in any White Wolf, really.
Yeah,
No, but I thought it was RP.
It's
related.
RP driven.
At least it is in
Let's see.
Requiem it is.
I probably about the same thing. Well, actually, Requiem started turning into
like if you hit your aspirations, you drive the story.
if you botch.
Yeah.
If you fail,
if you fail.
Old World of Darkness. It's you get an XP point for showing up. You get an XP point if you think you were in danger. Not if you killed it. If you think you were in danger, you might get an XP point for really good RP. But you don't have to kill. You don't have to kill.
My point is that they're trying to correct that oversight, which is you don't have to kill things to succeed. And I think that it's still in your brains, which from video games, from earlier role playing, which is if I don't kill that dragon, I haven't won. I don't get XP. I don't gain the glory or whatever. I'm not winning.
See, I never have that problem.
It is. I know. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, and I think that the perception is changing, but it's still there. It's still a trope that needs to be overcome. And I could speak again to Mission Imbartable, which was basically we assembled an entire group of people with social skills only, and that was. Or I could speak to Trig, who had no combat skills, so he had to talk his way out of every combat.
Well, and Heavy Metal Jess is saying in the chat room, like, is this a problem for people? Because she's saying my character with a 4 charisma actually made the other PC's communications less productive, so they made her wait outside all the time.
Heavy Metal Jess, thank you.
Right?
It's always good to see you. It's always good to see you in the forest. One of our earliest listeners. Thank you.
I know.
Yes,
we had
and you're
Forrest
right.
popping in.
I know.
Yeah.
I was in a vampire game where I played a Malkavian former minister of the Church of England.
You were so useless in combat.
I had absolutely. It was the very first character I ever played who had no combat stats at all. He had no athletics. He had no melee, no brawl, no firearms, no archery, nothing.
But you're very persuasive.
But he was
No.
So he was a Malkavian named Vicar. Like he was the Vicar. That was the only name he gave, right? And during fights, he would read the Bible at them.
Okay, he would
But
also
he would combine that with the Malkavian discipline of
Mind
meditation
fucking, yeah.
and drive them insane.
Yeah.
But it took, was it 3 rounds or 5
rounds? It took
So
3 rounds to do
So
it.
if we didn't kill everything in 3 rounds, somebody would run off crazy. But
Wasn't
that was
always the people who did
yeah.
it.
Well, my character was not combat focused either, but she did really well on the elemental path of controlling plants. So
Oh, yeah, that one.
yeah, so
Path, yeah.
green path. So I could make the nearby plants entangle, or in one particularly notable combat scene where I accidentally rolled like 8 successes, I made the desk start growing as a tree again in an underground room.
Just as a side note, one of the
Yeah.
best things out of the Swamp Thing comics is when he actually made like the bits of lettuce or whatever that was in the guy's guts sprout again.
Life goals!
Hold on to that thought for a while.
If I get to play her again, which I probably won't.
All the
but
flora and fauna that's in your gut can then be sprouted.
Oh my god.
life goals.
Seriously.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
like I have shoot in the
I'm processing that.
Yeah.
in the Spaniards.
That was in the Swamp Thing comic books in like 1980 or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
That's
awesome.
when Swamp Thing first came back. Anyway,
in,
very cool
in the
thought.
in the Spaniards Ghost,
If you have a salad the
have
night
to
before, you're
yeah.
doomed.
In the Spaniards Ghost game, the one that's every other Wednesday that Gina and Kurt and I are in,
Yeah.
my character has 0 combat skills. She has the pacifist flaw. However, I have a great persuade skill, which I use in combat.
And taunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I have taunt and I have persuade, so I use those in combat because that's all I can do.
And it worked.
Oh, it
First
worked. It worked.
First session.
It worked brilliantly.
I get that, and
Yeah.
I think we and Happy Jacks get that. But it is. I've seen many a game, even at cons and stuff, where fighty people are still rewarded more than talky people, and you know the whole you're talking to my experience points. As funny as that is, it's still kind of there. People min-max for a reason, and they don't min-max social characters. And yeah, if they do min-max a social character, it's a challenge. It's a bet.
I totally
It's a-
min-maxed her, actually.
Right, it's a bet, though.
Yeah.
Not
for me.
And it's hard sometimes to be the social character in a group full of fighters, you know? Are you going to be Bilbo Baggins in a group full of dwarves? I mean, okay,
I am.
that's the example that worked.
You get to be this. You get to be the special something.
From the other side of the
Well, kind of.
Maybe in that story you do.
Yeah.
From the other side of the table, though, a game that I ran for about 3 years, I had 4 social or intellectual-based characters and 1 fighter. And I was constantly trying to keep the game interesting for the fighter without
for sure.
bringing
Yeah.
a combat in every
Yeah.
session.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's
That's hard.
when you
Was
have
that the vampire?
mixed goal. Yeah, it was
World
the
War
World War
I.
One game. Yeah, it was again mixed goals. You have
Oh, yeah.
a party with mixed goals and mixed
Yeah.
mindsets and such. I'm reminded though of something I've been seeing online recently that just keeps getting shared over and over and over again. So I'm trying to design an RPG using chutzpah, moxie, cut of your jib, childlike wonder, gumption, and a certain je ne sais quoi as the main stats. Talk about your social character.
I'm in.
Wow.
I'm in.
Yeah.
It's so Joey. She's fiddling on the
Yeah.
roof.
Forrest said in the chat room, this guy thinks social skills suck. That's a lot of a sibilant. Because he's never played with a GM that knows how to make a social situation that isn't a 14-year-old's imaginary cardboard cutout version of a fraught social situation.
Don't sugarcoat it for us. How do you
No.
really feel? Wow. Testify.
Preach.
Yeah, if I want to
Yeah.
play an RPG system that only has rules for the physical stuff, I'd
Yeah.
play D&D 5.0. Oh, wait.
You know what?
Only the physical stuff?
You know what though?
4.0.
But
Yeah,
no,
4.0.
but even within those confines, you can still play well and still play interesting. And as a GM, again, you can construct interesting combats that don't always end up in combat. It's
possible,
a flaw of us being lazy. It's a flaw of us falling back on tropes. It's a flaw of us. Conan always killed things. Well, Conan wasn't called Conan the Philosopher. It's called Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, it wasn't Conan the Librarian. That came later.
Yes, it did. But Conan the Librarian could be a really interesting game if you play it right, if you set it right, if you GM it right. I'm just saying that we as gamers need to put enough validation on. I don't know why that sound is bothering me.
From
But
outside.
Somebody outside is playing a whistle
whether
or
you hear it or
something.
not.
It's like a
I think that we as
penny whistle or
GM
something.
and as players and stuff need to concentrate as much on social skills as we do on combat skills, and maybe even more so because they are often derided, underestimated, and underused.
And-
as a GM, combat's easy to
It's easy,
plan.
simple, and
It's
maybe
easy
that's
to
why
plan until the character specializes in improvised weapon.
mug and wet towel.
I didn't get quite that bad, but antique chair was valid.
Yeah.
So was the other enemy. There is nothing as good as beating a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Or another motherfucker's arm.
Thomas thinks you need to rate Mission Imbartable up.
Listen, we're going to run this at some point. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry I keep dropping the reference to it, but
No,
but
they're interested.
I know,
For sure.
and at some point it's not going to be as good as all the interest that I've
Yeah.
jacked up in this.
But-
hey, let's finish this up, should we?
Okay,
I mean-
let's do it.
We have a couple. Is there another
Okay.
thought you want to finish
Yeah,
up?
yeah. I mean, my
Go
thought
ahead.
is, okay, so you play out that social skill, and if you do a super good job playing it out, maybe you had a lore check to back you up at the start, so you actually started with the right thing, then maybe you get a bonus. But you make the roll at the end of the interaction, or towards the end of the interaction, to see where it's going to go.
And that's kind of how you. That ideally that's how a social role can work or should work.
Especially if your character has low social stats, because
Right.
the GM should know who the social characters are on the builds.
Right.
And so maybe if somebody has high stats and you play it well, it's a gimme. But if you've got low stats, especially if you've got
Well,
some sort of off-putting flaw, you
it-
make that roll to see if you made it.
and conversely, and I've talked about this numerous times because Tappy brought it up very originally, which is if you built a bard, you have bonuses to your rolls, and if you don't actually get to roll your dice, if you min-maxed your social character and you don't get to roll your dice, you're cheated, right? And oftentimes they're like, "Well, tell me what you say to the guard." I'm like, "No, I have like all these bonuses for my dice roll. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to roll my dice." If it were a fighter, that's perfectly legitimate. Yeah, just roll your dice, you hit him. If it's a bard, no, I want to hear what you have to say. There's another set of standards involved with social interaction. So I think that we sometimes need to make sure that gets balanced. Maybe the other way. So you want to hit him. All right. How do you want to hit him? And, again, Power of the Apocalypse, Fate, and all this kind of tackle some of that. But I think maybe we all need to be a bit more aware of how we balance these things out. It's no one thing to say, I'm hit him, I'm going to roll my dice. I'm going to talk to him, I'm going to roll my dice. Wait. You're going to talk to him? Now there's another set of things.
I use my vicious insult
Vicious
cantrip.
mockery.
Vicious mockery cantrip.
Right.
I call him a butthead, and then I roll.
Yeah, a
Right.
doo-doo face.
Actually, no, I was coming up with
I'm
some
not.
pretty good
I'm not
ones
sure I have a
last session.
solution for that. It's just it's something that's kind of
right?
occurring to me
I
now as I'm talking it out, which is there are double standards involved with it. How do we fix that? I'm not sure that there's an elegant solution. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I've had
You know what I'm
GMs
saying?
who-
No, I totally know what you're saying.
But you know what? I've had GMs who called for a description of your attack before you rolled.
Mm-hmm.
You're attacking him? Okay, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
talk.
I've done that, and I've tried to do that more often. Is if you and there are some systems that will actually provide bonuses for it that you get stunt bonuses essentially, where it's like if I say, okay, I'm going to walk up to him and slash him with my sword. Okay, roll. I'm going to grab the rope, swing down from the chandelier, and slice off his head as I fly by. All right, that's
Seventh
a stunt,
C.
and you get right.
Seventh
Exactly.
C.
Now you're
Right,
playing
exactly.
DCC.
Well, or 7th C. is
Yeah.
what she's saying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there
Or
are
GURPS, but you got to roll for each one of those.
No, but that is interesting because I feel
Queen's
like
Cavaliers.
Queen's Cavaliers, yes.
I feel more cheated when I have made a social character and I never get to use the stuff on my character sheet.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's one of the strengths of the White Wolf games is that most of the powers that are used are actually social combat.
Presence.
Yeah, I mean, not
Presence,
just
dominate.
not just in Vampire, but I mean, you've got obviously you've got presence and dominate and
Necromancy.
Necromancy, sure, necromancy.
Well, sure.
Necromancy is a social skill.
It absolutely is. All various things, but also you've got in Mage, you've got various social combat abilities with mind and spirit, and anything using those. You've got in Werewolf, you've got various gnosis traits and gifts that are social based because you're trying to talk to spirits to get them
but
to
it's
to
not like you don't have
persuade
Brawl or Broken AF,
I'm-
Celerity, and,
No,
and
no, I'm not
Masquerade,
saying that those
or
don't exist.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they have put an equal
Yes.
amount of work into developing those
Yeah.
those social or intellectual aspects of
No, I think so. That's
of
probably
the
why
game.
storytelling.
The only system that comes to mind
System.
for me, just quickly, and we'll finish this up. But the
Yeah.
only system that comes to mind for me that actually puts weight on your social interactions is Legend of the Five Rings, where you actually have characters that are effective, they're needed, and their skills count, and
Well,
their roles count or
and
don't count. And if they don't
Yeah.
make a roll, it affects the way the game is played.
And
And it's important in
Yeah.
that society. It's one of the few games I know where a social interactive character is not only needed and wanted but respected,
Well,
and their mechanics work.
Burning Wheel. I
I don't want to go into Mouse Guard.
I know you don't,
I
but
really,
Burning
want to
Wheel,
like Mouse Guard.
Burning
I
Wheel.
truly do. But
I say it 3 times and Luke Crane appears.
You,
Yeah, he
might,
does.
you might like the system better if you played not vampire because the other species types are a little less set up to be quite as morally gray.
Burning Wheel.
no, in
storyteller system.
Oh,
yeah, in the
okay.
White Wolf stuff. You might like.
Well, no, I was talking about
Alpha.
Alphavar
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They actually
Yep.
have
Nope, I totally do.
the courtiers are actually and the whole court intrigue is important to the game, and if it's not there,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
game is almost broken.
But
I mean,
is it still done by dice roll?
yes.
Okay.
It's very much so.
Okay.
In fact, you can't. Yeah, it's pretty much It's pretty much verbal combat.
It's social combat.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to say this roll. It's the only game that I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm sure that the chat room and I will come up with a litany of other
I
games
know,
that make this
right?
work.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
the one that I've played where it's not just dismissed or discounted. The mechanics work, and they're important, and they're influential in the game.
Fate too. Fate, you can do so much damage.
You
with social
can, but
stuff.
with
It just-
courtiers,
yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's actually a
No,
class.
but I hear what you're saying, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
totally. And I want to play Exalted, so just saying.
All right.
Now we can move on.
All right, so
Who
is it my
hasn't
turn?
read? Somebody
I think
has
it's my
not.
turn.
Okay, it's your
Jamming
turn,
Triumph
sir.
from Sam. I get to
Yeah.
read the Triumph from Sam. Hi, Happy Jacks crew. Just wanted to write in with a jamming moment of triumph. Okay,
Well-
and I would like to say triumph because usually we get nightmares, so I want to hear about the
That's,
triumph.
Yay.
that's the like exploding symbol on the die with the
The
never
Triumph
mind, never mind.
looks like a laurel leaf to me.
Looks like a laurel leaf.
I thought it was just a little
Or a
insult
crab.
comic puppet with a cigar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, that guy too.
with
crab.
with a moment of triumph, with a reminder that gaming inspirations can come from anywhere, and I totally agree with this. You always
That's
should
awesome.
keep your antenna open for anything. You can find inspiration in everything.
We get ours from long car rides. Not kidding.
I was recently at a theater performance of The Sound of Music with my family. While the show was excellent, what really struck me about it halfway through the play was that the story was about there's a footnote attached here.
No, it's just
Oh,
highlight
okay.
italics. Pretend it's italics.
That this story would
Make an excellent role-playing game adventure. You have sympathetic lead, remote and vivid setting location. You have subplots and secondary, tertiary.
You skipped a line.
Did I? Oh, you're right. You have sympathetic lead, NPCs trying to escape villainous hordes of Nazis trying to do evil things. You have a remote and vivid setting location. You have subplots and secondary, tertiary NPCs, depending on which way the party goes. I decided to test my theory with my Star Wars Age of Rebellion group with the following easy tweaks to the plot. Captain Var Roman von Trapp, a respected Republic Austrian commander, was being press-ganged by the Imperial's Nazis, which isn't that far of a stretch, really.
They pretty
considering
much
their
straight up
uniforms.
said that
Yeah,
was-
pretty
yeah.
much. To take command of the Star Destroyer, the Edelweiss. Genius. I wouldn't have gone that far. I love that. The Edelweiss, while his family was being held captive as leverage for his good behavior. The captain's good friend, Planetary Governor Hayden Richards, Education Secretary Max Detweiler, I've forgotten enough of the plot that I don't remember that, but contacted the rebellion in hopes of rescuing the captain, his 7 children, his young wife, who is a former acolyte of the Order of the Whills, Catholic nun, before the Empire outlawed the religion during a music festival that was being put on to celebrate Emperor Palpatine. See? It fucking works, doesn't it? And we're all like, that is a genius plot. That's awesome.
Kudos to you, sir.
This was a huge success with the players. They didn't even realize the plot was stolen almost verbatim. And when it finally clicked with them 2/3 through the adventure, they were quite entertained on how off-script things had gone, including Julie Andrews serenading the children with, "These are a few of my favorite things," to distract them from stormtroopers getting mowed down with blasters, and the captain stealing a Star Destroyer for the rebellion as part of the escape while chucking his Imperial handler out of the shuttlecraft.
Woo!
I didn't have a chance to work out a subplot with the eldest daughter dating a reluctant stormtrooper, but it was there if I needed it. Fun was had all around. A good reminder to keep one's eyes open for any source material, no matter how weird it seems to begin with. I laud that. That's absolutely. Sincerely, Sam from Lakewood. You know what? Kudos to you, man. That's...
We had a game session recently where like half the players of our regular Tuesday night game couldn't make it, so the GM ran a one-shot in which he had pre-gen characters for us, and it was based on the storyline of the song Hotel California.
There you go. Welcome to the Hotel California.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Think
it was
about
like,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to
on a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
and
you can check it anytime you want, but you can never leave.
That is so bold.
That
So you can check into a hotel or whatever is run by vampires or zombies.
It was
they're not
vampires.
living.
Actually.
Yeah,
we were
of
all
course.
vampires, and we were checking out this hotel out in like Barstow or something like that.
Once you check in, they won't let you leave because
right, exactly. There were some people who had there was like
little Jonathan Harker action.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to play in a game inspired by Bohemian Rhapsody.
See?
It's got a plot if you listen to it.
Sure.
No, it does. And then there's a Styx song, Renegade,
Yes.
that I always think about.
Dude, you
like-
can take an entire Styx catalog, because you go Renegade, you go Grand Illusion,
What kind of-
Oh, Nicole's been running.
Is that rock opera stuff? What is that stuff
Yeah,
called?
but Renegade's actually based
Rock
on an
opera.
old folk tune called The Prickle Holly Bush, which is about
Yes.
rescuing
Seriously?
somebody
Actually,
from the gallows pole.
Folk rock is magical.
I need to hear this.
And remember, Led
I'm
Zeppelin
like, wait,
did Gallows
what?
Pole. It was Hangman, ride
Folk
with a
rock.
mile.
Yeah.
Folk rock.
I'd see my brother coming, Friday,
Really?
many a
Well,
but Renegade is
Metallica did
kind of the
Whiskey
same thing.
Metallica did Whiskey in the Jar. That's a plot line.
Well, but Renegade was an original tune, but the plot is a
It's
similar.
as Prickle Holly Bush.
I had
Actually,
no
I
idea.
spent all
That's
day.
awesome.
I
I'm
spent
a
all day on it.
renegade who's had a maid.
Yeah.
But basically, he's
from-
trying to run away because he's fucked up and he's trying to get away from the law.
trouble with the law.
It's a classic old folk country
Wow.
tune,
Oh,
but yeah, it's
like
out
a
there.
ballad.
Yep.
I
Yep.
spent
a
all day
ballad. It's a rock
listening to
ballad.
a Southern Gothic playlist.
Oh.
The opening to
Just gave me
True
an
Blood,
idea.
that song, it's that style music.
Okay. Yeah. I
and-
heard some of it when I came and picked you up.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's not country because it's more there's less twangy than that.
It's more like Southern rock.
It's like Southern rock. It's got a lot of folk in it. There are banjos, but like it works in a really dark, creepy way a lot of the time.
Could be
and
Dobros.
actually, it's a lot of stuff that would make really good horror stuff because the number of stuff about the devil dragging somebody off to hell. Mm-hmm.
Devil
I-
went down to
Stork,
Georgia,
you just
looking
That's
for
a
gold,
totally
steal,
brilliant
losing fire,
idea.
Way behind, and looking to make a deal.
Nick Cave album Murder Ballads, because that stuff would make fantastic like seeds for stories.
I've always said that if you're running
Oh,
an investigative
man,
game
and
and,
Nick
you're
Cave,
and you're
I'm
stuck,
sorry.
just go IMDb the plots
Yeah.
to any of the Rockford Files.
Yeah.
Well,
But seriously,
Rockford Files,
seriously.
but seriously, ballads.
Sure.
If
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that inspiration can come from anywhere. The neat thing about those old
Might have
television
fun.
shows is that they give you the plot,
my
they give you the
God,
beginning, middle, and end, and then you can. That's all it is a
Yeah.
skeleton. You can hang your plot, and they're going to go sideways off of what the Rockford Files was.
Yeah.
But it gives
Well,
you
plus-
motivation, plots, names.
Stephen
Cannon, yeah, Canal.
Dick Cannell.
Yeah, brilliant.
Uh huh.
Yeah. was
But-
Rockford
Rest in
Files.
peace.
Well, and the
Yeah.
Belisarius
Yes.
with Magnum PI. My point is that any one of those
Yeah.
things are wonderful little places you could do it from any. I mean, the Avengers stories and such. If you really want to go fantastic stuff, Rebecca with
My Little Pony.
And when you IMDb it, they give you these little plot summaries,
Yeah.
and they're all there, and it gives you that little
And then
little
just spin the dial a little bit.
Right, just-
yeah.
Again, it's just a matter of keeping your receptors open and not being too, but not
Yep.
blocking too much, and just going, look, he watched Sound of Music and came up with a great plot. You can watch Romeo and Juliet and come up with great plots. It's been reused over and over and over again. The plot for Romeo and Juliet is, it's in every great movie, it's in every great television show. It was in Kindred the Embraced. It
Yep.
was in. It's
Yep.
the basis for every vampire
Star-Crossed
ever done.
Lovers is classic.
Yeah.
But no,
And I
seriously,
guarantee you, every time you do Star-Crossed Lovers, nobody's going to know it's Romeo and Juliet. It's
or
still,
everybody
it's-
will know it's Romeo and Juliet.
and they don't
And they don't
care.
care.
Right. It's always those stories are. There's tropes that we use, but those stories will change and write themselves if you just start with those
Yeah,
kernels.
there are only 37 plots. There are 6 basic conflicts and 37 plots. It's just a matter of how you wrap around that basic plot design.
I think it's more important that you as a GM or you as the storyteller, you find whatever it is that inspires you. If looking through old television shows inspires you, go for it. If listening to ballads inspires you, go for it. But these structures are out there. They're simple if you just look for them and embrace them. People always say they're stuck. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to write or whatever. They're all out there. It's everything.
There's a server on the East Coast.
What a dumb question.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, when you start feeling stuck, that's where you go watch or read other people's ideas. Comic books, any comic gives you. I just saw the My Little Pony movie, and now that I'm thinking about it, the most recent My Little Pony movie has an amazing structure for like a campaign. Because
it's
I
a
mean,
truly
there's
amazing
betrayal, there's more betrayal, there's betrayal from other people, there's pirates.
My kids have been watching.
That's hilarious.
Kidnapped by Pirates is good.
Watching what?
Even the Pirates of Penzance is good. If you think about the various plot, it's wonderful. But my kids have been watching How to Train Your Dragon. They watched all those movies.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the series
So
is killer.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
very good,
truly
yeah.
inspired. It's like, and the movies were fine. They're kind of predictable or whatever. But the series has just gone off, and
And
it's
the
like
character development.
Yeah.
And
right. But
The
here's
new
that.
Voltron is amazing.
Exactly, and that's the point, which is as stupid as it might sound. Those plots are out there, and these people were smart enough to find these wonderful things and focus on the story and came up with these wonderful stories.
Good writers borrow from other writers. Great writers steal outright.
But more than that, you tell the same story in a great way, or just it changes. And the wonderful thing about role playing is that you don't have to tell the story. You come up with the kernels. It's star-crossed lovers. Your players will take it in a completely different place.
Oh,
and when you
yeah.
point out to them 3/4 of the way through that you're playing Romeo and Juliet, they're going to go, "Well, ours is different and better."
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. That's
Heavy-
the joy.
Heavy
especially because
metal-
they run into different corners of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's more like West Side Story, really.
More singing? More singing?
Yeah, basically.
Heavy Metal just said, if I can, the Tinkerbell movies have great plots.
You know
So
what's
who
actually
knew?
here? You know what?
Actually-
And you're going to hate me for
Shoot,
this.
Monster High.
A bunch of the early, and I
yeah,
only know this
Monster
because I had a
High.
bunch of girls. A bunch of the early Barbie movies.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, the Barbie movies were really, really good.
I have a friend who helped animate some of those.
Some the one where they're it's the what's the one with the prince and the prince and the pauper.
Oh,
so
that's
good.
Dickens.
And they use like the music. At some point they play. Anyway, the point is they're really good. I was like,
Look at me like
I
I
sat down. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm gonna sit down and watch television with the kids. I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah, stupid kids movies hitting you in the feelings. Like, what's up with
right?
that?
Hitting the feelings and just even well-told stories. I was surprised. Like, why would the Barbie movie be a well-told story? You
So
figure
that
that they
the
could just
parents
I don't know.
they could just toss it off, and they're wonderful. Some of them.
Yeah.
The later ones, not so much. The early ones, I'm telling you, you can mine them for all sorts of. The mermaid one. I mean, they go to this mermaid city, and there's all sorts of ideas in there. It's just, it's
Monster
so
High
smart.
and Ever After High both are like.
I'm talking about Barbie movies. They shouldn't be
These are
that
the same
good.
thing. These movies were designed to sell dolls.
They shouldn't be
There are
that good.
costume changes,
That's
multiple costume
insane.
changes to justify multiple dolls from the movie.
Fair enough,
They're
fair
cute
enough.
costumes too. Like,
Fair
I kind
enough.
of want to collect dolls.
Yeah. No, I mean, even though these shows going back, to Transformers and He-Man and G.I. Joe.
Oh, dude, go back to the Bible. There's some
where-
great plot lines in the Old Testament.
But I mean, even these shows were designed as half-hour toy commercials.
Yeah.
Did you say G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
Because hell yeah.
Right.
Right?
She-Ra.
Yeah, absolutely.
She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Yep.
But
He-Man.
yeah, but these shows were designed
He-Man.
intentionally
Thundar.
as
Thundar the
as
Barbarian.
half-hour toy commercials.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that they don't have a certain amount of artistic merit to them that you can mine for good ideas.
They're all there.
Yeah.
They're all there. I
That-
mean,
Thundar with his fabulous sun sword.
I used to get up in the mornings to watch Thundar the Barbarian.
Right?
And it's actually something I really wanted to run into GURPS. It's a very post-apocalyptic world. It's so wonderful. And somebody on the forums the other day pointed out that Ookla the Mock,
Yeah.
Ookla is named Ookla because they found him at UCLA.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's a world of savagery and super science.
It is. It
I
is
know.
because it's and Jack Kirby
Hell
because
yeah.
after he'd been fired from DC and right, mind blown. Right.
Ookla.
I never
had
watched
no idea.
it, but
You need to watch them. They're cheesy and corny, but the kernels are all there. It's Gamma
No,
World.
Thundar is awesome.
Even the stuff with the moon is all like fraction and blown up. But the point is that Jack Kirby, back when he was done with DC, he was done with Marvel. They brought him in for animate, created Thundar the Barbarian, and all that wonderful Jack Kirby energy and all that. It's commandy. There's this post-apocalyptic thing. There's magic. There's sorcery. And it's all there. And they're riding through the wasteland of Western civilization, discovering things like UCLA, where they find Ookla the Mock, who's an
Yeah.
experimental creature, and a bunch of. I mean, it's Kirby at his best. Jack Kirby creating all of Marvel, the House of Marvel and House of DC. He's that guy.
Club
And then
72.
of course,
That guy.
Jack the King Kirby comes down and touches animation briefly and created Thundar the Barbarian. It is. You can watch this stuff and you can just like that's my. I'm gonna and there's another. I'm gonna do that. And they're all there. They're wonderful.
Totally.
Yeah, from our modern animated point of view, terrible. The voice acting's not very good, but the plots are there. The world is still there. There's some wonderful moments, some background
Yep.
elements where you're like, Johnny Quest, same kind of thing. Alex Toth was involved with that stuff. Really, still the plots are all kind of there. They fail. They're not perfect, but there's kernels. You watch it and you go, oh my God, I'm going to take this and we're going to do this right. And maybe that's the point. Maybe find something that is imperfect, that has a really wonderful, that just whatever it is that sparks you, and then take that to your group and make it what it should be.
No, absolutely.
Gargoyles.
Yes.
Gargoyles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's
yep.
I
a
just
great
wanna
idea,
rewatch
though.
that.
All right, I'm
talk
done.
to Alex.
So all of you listening, I expect to see you submitting games for OrcCon in February.
Yes.
Right?
I
Yeah.
submitted 2 games. Well, actually, the same game twice. And I saw that Stu has submitted a game in the Ashes of Exodus world, which I will not be able to play in because it's at the same time as one of the games I'm running. So
Are you doing
I'm
something?
been thinking of boycotting this one.
Really?
Well, because I hear that
NBA
because of the
All-Stars
NBA.
game.
and I'm just fed up with that hotel.
Yeah, no, I had a horrible experience last time.
I'm just fed up with
Yeah.
the whole scene. I spent so much money this last time, and I more than I've had
Yep.
in the past, and
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not sure I can really afford
I'm
it.
going
Which is not to say
because-
that I don't like the con. I might just show
Yeah.
up.
I never
just
stay at the hotel.
yeah,
though.
we've never actually.
yeah,
stayed
but
at the
I
hotel.
can't.
And there's a lot of hotels.
So we drive back and forth.
It's a long
Yeah.
Uber to my way home.
No, but across the street or next door. I'm gonna run 2 games.
I'm gonna have to show
Actual
up then.
legitimate
Yep.
games, not ShadowCon.
I'm sorry. ShadowCon is legit.
Yeah, it is.
But I
Except that we can't find them because they're not on the schedule.
no, I know. I know. No, on the books. Yeah, no, I'm gonna run. I promised that I was gonna run Tears and Kisses. So Tears and Kisses is a cyberpunk rock and roll's fable. So picture like Streets of Fire with your, your Gibson.
It's
Yeah,
warriors
no.
with Gibsons.
Oh,
and-
it's like cyberpunk with the punk and cyberpunk and feels.
It's
get to be
cyberpunk plus gem in the
No,
holograms.
don't put your mayonnaise in my peanut butter.
But I like
I'm glad you
them.
said Gem,
No,
not the
it's
Archies.
watch Streets of Fire.
Josie
Yeah.
and the
Watch
Pussycats.
Streets of Fire. Watch Streets of Fire. Yeah. Watch Streets of Fire, and then Walter Hill appears.
I don't know what system I want to run. I've decided.
And then
Hasn't been any grim
I would like to run Velvet Glove, which is still an ash can or a not completed PBTA. but I might run Girl Gang something in a different system.
Is it GRRRL?
It is kind of like, if you've watched, the best reference point I can give you is Switchblade Sisters.
Okay.
There's some total Girl Gang stuff, like The Warriors is a good touch point to
Maybe Orange is the New
except
Black.
it's not chick gangs.
Yeah. There's a couple. The
And
Furies.
there's a whole genre of films in the 70s called Pinky Violence.
Yep.
Seriously? What? This is why I love
It's
you,
Russ
Stuart.
Meyer stuff.
Well, yeah, no, I totally named my character after a Russ Meyer character and something else. I think her name was Joy Bang or something like that.
Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
of,
That's the
actually,
quintessential Russ
So
Meyer.
it is.
That's
So it's
what
like,
I
this is
wondered
not...
if
Which is
that was one of
it's the China syndrome filtered through Russ Meyer.
Yeah, and it's like, I think even one of the first lines in the book, they call it a diary. That's what it is. They're not calling it a Nash can because it's not done yet. But it's like, this is not your mama's 70s. This is like the gritty girl gang. I got a switchblade. Who did you take to get, whatever?
Remember
yeah.
the Hide a Roller Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the other game I want to run.
Nice.
So.
You have
sounds
all the right
magical.
Well, and
expectations for
I
it.
have talked to Stu about doing some stream stuff with some of those games too. So we're working on that right now. So I won't say
So
too much. Just-
recorded playtest kind of thing, or
No, like actually maybe adding
Streaming from the
some.
con.
No, adding some stuff
Oh,
to the
into
stream when
schedule.
it opens up a little bit.
I volunteer as tribute.
Cool. No, there definitely needs to be that stuff. So cool. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
The two games that I'm running the same game twice.
Cool.
And it's not Vampire.
Oh, that's
Really?
right. I know what it is. I know what it is.
It's going to be using Wild Talents.
Oh,
Space,
nice.
right? Space.
Nice. No, don't say.
You go to strategic.
It's a
Combat Net, you
secret.
can already see
It's
it
a
on there,
tease.
so,
Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah. No.
I'm not planning on anything.
we
I'm
do
actually
not
not planning on
speak of
attending.
it.
I might
Yeah.
have to attend at least for the podcast. I just didn't have a great
Yeah.
time this last time around, and it was really expensive, and I'm just not. I like the con. I like the people that run the con. I'm just not very happy with the venue anymore.
No, I don't know that we want to
I'm not gonna.
get
I'm
into
not
the
gonna air my
details.
dirty laundry on it.
No, but me either, Stark. Like I had some serious issues, and I am used to having to call after the con to fix serious issues, and it was like an episode of The Office or something. It was hilarious. It
Wow.
was to the point that
I've never had that. I've
No,
never had
it was
that
just
bad.
like. It was bad.
I've never had it that bad.
was bad.
I just was not.
Yeah.
it's
Maybe you guys should get like an Airbnb really nearby, so the Uber is
it's not, but it's not even just. It's not even that. It's like when you go to the con, it's still in the. You still have to follow their rules. You still have to. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we have to actually really organize a Happy Jacks
No.
convention.
No, we need to support the convention because it's actually a great convention, and there's
It
a
is.
lot of great things that go on. And for the people that haven't gone 6 or 7 years in a row and seen, and have, they're still going to have a great time. And I do encourage that. And I think there's a lot of great things that happen at the con, and I do
it is.
truly appreciate it.
Yeah. Nope,
I've
absolutely.
But perhaps
amazing
we've been
games.
doing it so long. It's like you've been going to Disneyland so long. You start to see the holes in the costumes and the zippers in the back, and you start to not be appreciated. I don't know. Maybe I need a break.
Maybe we're just old and jaded.
Just me?
Do you need those darn kids to get off your lawn,
I
Stork?
do. I remember when this con was small. I was able. No. I think perhaps I might need a break. I don't know. And it's not the con's fault.
No, the con is awesome.
And it is, and I love the con, and I
Yeah.
love what it does, and I love the fact
Yeah.
there's 3 of them in LA, and I love the fact that it's growing
Yeah.
in leaps and bounds, and
But, yeah, the
everything
hotel
about
is-
it is so great.
There are a lot of though.
We need to stop. I don't want to.
No, but, like, doesn't matter where you live.
Hate mail from.
all over the planet, all over the globe, all over this place, all over this world. Isn't that a song?
Yeah.
This universe.
All around the world,
Yeah.
cons
Yeah.
are falling for me. Okay.
But there's all sorts of cool cons, and they're within driving distance of LA. There's an awesome con in New Mexico. They're
you guys are
in
huge
Seattle.
fans of Big
They're-
Bad Con.
Yes,
You guys have been touting
Where
it up.
it
that
is.
one?
It is my favorite
Big
con.
Bad Con?
It is now in Walnut Creek,
Oh, okay. I know
Northern
that- I know
California.
that.
It used to be Oakland, Oaktown.
Okay. Cool.
It is for
Hands
many
down.
reasons. Yeah, fantastic games, even better people, and
Wow.
they do really good things. They usually kickstart the con, but donate money to Doctors Without Borders,
Nice.
food drives. They do a 5K run
That
and donate
is
money.
awesome.
No, there's such a freaking amazing community built behind that con that
From
it's
from
just
the Bay Area, none of that surprises me.
Yeah,
But-
I love conventions that have a charity they support with the extra
and
money.
I'm
love
sorry,
those
I took a
conventions.
picture and I don't think I posted it, but like community standards on a huge I don't know what you call those little.
Placard or something?
No, it's like one of those banners
okay.
that you would print and put on a little tent pole.
We
thing.
should do a whole episode basically
But-
on cons and stuff. I don't mean to interrupt
Oh,
you,
no,
but
I think
I
that'd be
need
a
to
great
stop this
idea,
now because
'cause I think
I'm
so
going to
too.
start throwing stuff in and
Yeah,
it's going to be a
and
whole
we
other
could just keep
tangent.
going and going.
We
But
can.
there's a lot of really cool cons around.
And I encourage
States.
cons. I think cons
Yeah.
are a wonderful thing, and that's maybe we can talk
Yeah.
about this in another
We
topic.
should totally
because
do that.
I think it's
Yeah.
actually a really interesting point. Which is, but I encourage them. Some cons are better than others. You go to Gen Con, it's like going to
Yeah.
Comic Con. It's huge, but there's
Yep.
smaller Comic Cons. Anyway, the
Yeah.
point being,
Origins,
I
Metatopia, and
totally
Go Play
love them.
Northwest.
Right.
Like, I could go on and on.
Right.
But yeah, so thank you for listening.
Yeah.
To Happy Jacks, season 20, episode 11. We will be back on Sunday night with Dead Rain. Oh yeah, you want me to? I got to do
wondering
that.
if you had
This is
started.
the degree of difficulty I have not.
Page 2.
Okay. No, first we got to talk.
Oh, right.
Do it over the thingy.
Right.
Okay, guys, I've never done this. Ready?
All right, here we go.
Okay, let me grab the things that I've not been wearing so I can actually hear them. But yeah. Oh, look, there it is. But thank you for joining us. Join us again on Sunday night for Dead Rain, on Monday night for Tomorrow Legion.
Tomorrow Legion, and then Wednesday
And
is...
then Wednesday night is Spanish.
Resort.
Yep, absolutely. My name is Gina.
I'm Mary.
I'm Kurt.
I'm Stork.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
We'll leave you with a song.
We will leave you
It
with
will be
It'll be a Sportive Trick song. I
Yeah.
think.
that guy.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, life is rough, and it's hard enough to remind you of the days when you could smile. So, my friend, you will see you gotta drink with me, and your troubles will end for a while. At the pub, at the pub, my friends, I'll see you all at the pub. At the end of the night, it will all be alright when I see you all at the pub. Well, poor old Bates has a job he hates. Every night he goes home in pain. But my friend, we can agree when the beer flows, bottom of a glass he's whole again.
Drinking like there's no tomorrow, drowning my sorrow, cursing my cold and bitter wife. But give her scotch or rye, there's a gleam in her eye, and I think I can learn to love my life.
At the pub, at the pub, my friends, I'll see you all at the pub. At the end of the night, it will all be alright when I see you all at the pub. Waking with the sun, following a night of fun, to a room spinning right off its axis. To give my head a jog, grab some hair of the dog. My breakfast is the devil's own molasses.
My useless mate, that lousy cheapskate, some Some days I could beat 'em with a club. But a pint or two of ale sure beats going to jail. And I'll meet that bastard down at the pub.
At the pub, at the pub, at the pub, my friends. I'll see you all at the pub, at the pub. At the end of the night, it will all be alright when I see you all at the pub, at the pub.
For my few years, the laughter and tears, a long road I've traveled alone. But the friends that I meet, like ciders, tart, and sweets, return me to that place that I call home.
When we fall out of bed with a sick and aching head, holding on tightly to the floor.
Oh God.
There's only one cure of which we can be sure, and that is to drink up more and more. At the pub, at the pub, at the pub, my friends. I'll see you all at the pub, at the pub. At the end of the night, it will all be alright when I see you all at the pub, 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 my friends. I'll see you all at the pub, at the pub. At the end of the night, it will all be alright when I see you